All right, and welcome to Speed Gaming 4. This is the Super Metroid Randomizer League 2021. We have Junie June, Asvel, Toasty, Glacio Souza in the race today. It's Golden Shower versus Noobs, and I am joined by the wonderful, the great, the 329th in line. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Sineth, I am doing well. Excited for another awesome round of Route Rando, but the craziness ensue as we've been seeing over the last week.
Oh
How are you
yeah, this
doing
is
today?
going to be absolutely bonkers trying to figure out where our runners are at all times. I'm doing pretty good.
So it looks like as we're getting queued up to go, if you're not too familiar with Route Rando, it's a little different from a standard Super Metroid Randomizer. Sineth, do you want to weigh in a little bit on what we might have in store for us?
So, if I understand it correctly, and you may correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to get to see everyone start at the ship. But as soon as our runners go through a door, we're not going to be in Criteria anymore. We might be somewhere else. We're not sure where we're going to be until we get there, and that's how every door transition is going to be.
Yeah, I mean it's about as randomized as you can get, right, for a randomizer. So gonna be following. There is one path that we have to follow from start to finish that will eventually lead to the mother brain fight and then the escape sequence. So our runners are not only gonna put the item pieces together, but they're also gonna have to build a map kind of on their own here. The good news is for our teams, as you see left and right, we have the Golden Shower on the left and Noobs BR. They can communicate with their teammates. So you might see, as we're already seeing down here, um, the teams might explore different areas so that they can cover more ground more efficiently.
Oh yeah, definitely. So each of these rooms have branching pathways. So one team member might say, "I'm going this way. I'm going to explore what's going this way," and then the other team member says, "Okay, I'm going to scout this area," which actually helps a whole lot for your whole team to figure out, exactly where the map is going at all times, and then you kind of shout each other out as far as where items are and things like that.
Yeah, and as far as items, as normal with our randomizer rule set, we can find different items scattered all over the planet. But what we are guaranteed to find is going to be a vanilla morph ball here, and then to this room to the right, when we head down, will be a missile expansion guaranteed. And actually, the red door on the other side of this, we're going to see on Junie June right here. That's going to be the Bomb Torizo fight, and it's going to have our vanilla bombs. So we will see Bomb Torizo on all 4 screens tonight.
Yeah, and that's kind of nice to see in rando races, especially if you're used to SMRAT or some other format, where you normally go check the Bomb Chorizo boss and there's an item there, but you're not guaranteed to fight him. There's a trigger that happens. You have to have the bombs. You have to have certain things to trigger this fight.
Yeah, and the nicest part about the fight in this mode is you do have 5 missiles. Give you a little bit extra punch. In the vanilla game, you don't have missiles when you fight Bomb Torizo, so...
So I'm wondering, and maybe you can predict with chat, what do you think we're going to see first? Do you think we're going to see Meridia first, Brinstar first, Norfair first?
That's a good question. This mode, it should be named Insanity. The last couple of races I've been doing are just wild things happen. Oh, I forgot to mention, as June is going to show us, the charge beam is also located here to the left of Morph Ball. I don't know. I get a feeling that we might dip into some Meridia rooms early on. How about yourself, Sineth? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we're going to get a wild race. I think we'll see Norfair first.
So with the potential for Norfair, that means you could step into a hot room without knowing it, and on no E-tanks and power suit. That is a scary prospect.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you really have to be good at knowing how long can you be in a hot room with the amount of energy you have, with the ammo reserves that you have. I'm thinking our runners are definitely going to look for CF ammo as quickly as possible, knowing that a suitless hot room could be coming up around the corner, any corner that they turn.
Yeah, and to the best of my knowledge, if Sineth or chat wants to correct me, I don't think any hell runs are in logic for this. So if our runners stumble upon a string of hot rooms, that means the various suit is somewhere accessible for them. So that might also affect their routing as they start to uncover, the map as it's laid out here.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. It probably depends on the hot room. So, for example, Cathedral is an area that you would not want to go through without a suit or enough tanks to get through it. But there are other rooms that are literally just one room long, and you could probably get through them on a single E-tank if you're really good on movement. But that's kind of a huge risk that our runners are going to have to think about because, the other side of that room could be another hot room or it could be a regular room. We don't know.
Well, speaking of making appearances, Toasty's route has led straight to everyone's favorite Super Metroid DLC here. Spore Spawn is going to be breaking down here. Probably going to see that on most of our runners' screens as well.
Yeah, this might be the required route to fight Spore Spawn, which makes me wonder, do you think we're going to see the third DLC boss today?
Who's the third DLC boss?
Golden Chorizo, the one that you almost never see.
Okay, we had a very interesting route last night where Gold Teresa was required, so I wouldn't be surprised. I always like to see Croc pop up, though.
Oh yeah, Crocomire is another DLC boss that everyone likes talking about. And then there's the very rare DLC boss that I know Eden is a huge fan of, and that is Shacktool.
Shacktool is true ending to me. And we see here, one of the reasons runners in all forms of speedrunning do not prefer to fight Spore Spawn here. As you can see, it's quite a time-consuming effort. I think Toasty is on a 4th cycle here, and stuck with just missiles. It can take a lot of time to be able to deal out the damage with having to go through those rotations. But we do see Toasty draining the color from the room there, and that is a Spore Spawn kill, first of our runners tonight.
Good game to Toasty. So Golden Shower, I believe, is slightly in the lead, both information-wise and progress-wise. But we'll have to see when Junie's going to turn around to actually fight Spore Spawn, because I believe he's going to need to go through that route at some point.
Well, actually, Toasty's showing us some information there. Just a dead end with a missile tank at the end of the climb for Spore Spawn. So I would imagine we won't be seeing that on Junie's side. This is a little bit of a time sink here. Not going to feel good for Asvel and I'm going to get this name wrong. The bottom right on Noobs BR. How do we say that one?
I call him Glacio.
Glacio. All right. Glacio it is for the run then.
No one's corrected me yet, and that's why I've been calling him on Speedrunners Arena since he's been running over there as well.
Well, both our Noobs BRs with some nice, I think that was 5 or 6 cycles on both runners there. So, if you're gonna take the time to fight Spore Spawn, be efficient with it. And all 3 of our runners that took that fight did pretty good with the ammo loadout they had in tow. So.
And speaking of our runners and what they do on other channels, be sure to go and give a huge follow to each of our runners, Junie June, Asvel, Toasty, and Glacio. This would not be possible without them and the other runners who are in Rando League. So be sure to give them a huge shout out, go hang out in their chat, and give them some cool emotes.
Yes, indeed. It's a great way to show love and support to these runners who are working hard to put on such entertaining content for us, not just here, but on their channels as well. And a nice shout out to my co-com Sinith, as well as our awesome tracker, Eden8, keeping us honest here with the items and stuff that we're finding as we go along. So we did see our first super missile pickup. Junie June found a super missile expansion in the back Ridley room. Supers can be kind of diamonds in the rough here. Sometimes tough to find, especially in this mode. So not
Yeah,
gonna turn those
definitely.
down.
Oh, and we didn't mention that some of the doors also get to change colors. We just saw one of the doors that's normally blue is actually gray right now.
Yeah, that's another interesting change to this that we should point out is so when you hit, especially some of those major hub rooms, um, there could be only one open available door, and you possibly have to search around and find it. So that's another place where having your teammate, do some extra scouting ahead of you, or if you can separate if you're both in there at the same time.
Mhm.
Um,
And we just saw an unfortunate death over on Asvel's screen, entering into the Botwoon room, and Botwoon just came down and, snakes do what snakes do, and they bite.
yeah, certainly an unfortunate death for Asvel to take. Gonna have to go kind of restart the vanilla game there. Grab all those early items like we saw in the beginning, but only 9 or so minutes in, so not the worst loss, and if you have watched any of these, route randos, it's not so much as if you take a death, but when.
Hmm.
A lot of this is kinda I think, whoever I was calming with last night said it very well, it's kinda trading deaths at this point is, do you take them at the optimal time? Because almost everybody, finds himself caught somewhere with this, like we said, that random layout, so
Right. So, remind me, inline, how does the randomizer league work overall? Who wins? How do we move on?
Well, as far as tonight's race, it's going to be the average time of both finishes. So that's going to be how we determine our actual winner for this evening. As far as the everything lines up for the league and season, honestly couldn't not too sure how it all ranks up together. Maybe if someone in chat has more information than I do. This is my first season with the Super Metroid League.
Yeah, same here.
And it looked like Junie June may have also taken a death there, but had a save. Or maybe it was a reset. I might have missed it. But this Batoon fight is not easy on the loadout that we're at right now. One E-Tank, just one pack of supers, and just a regular charge beam. So not going to be putting out too much damage right now.
Yeah, and this might be the required way to go. There might be no other way for us to get through this area. But Toasty is definitely exploring a little bit, trying to figure out if there is another direction to go.
Yeah, I believe this is the third time we're seeing Batoon on screen for Junie. Junie came in here and just immediately reset the first time, and then chat is confirming took a death on the second time through. So definitely knew what Junie was getting into this third time around in the room. This is a tough fight and very well could be required on this low percent. And that's one of the things that makes this specific setting so tough is like you said, this might just be the path we need to take.
But one's getting a little low, so getting close.
Junie doing a nice job to stay cornered there and not take any extra damage.
Yeah, I don't believe Botwoon really attacks this corner very often. And there it is. Botwoon is down for the first racer today.
Looks like Junie June is going to immediately go back and save on that, and I can appreciate
Oh,
that
yeah.
call.
Yeah, definitely. You want to make the right call, save at the right times. If you don't, then yeah, it could just end badly. And for that long of a fight, it's definitely worth saving.
Speaking of saves, all the different things we had to note about the changes to this mode, forgot to mention all the save rooms are going to be vanilla. So while everything else is a random entrance, our runners at least have the assurance to know where the save rooms are going to turn up. And as we just saw with Junie June, can make effective use of those.
Oh, so other side of Botwoon looks like it was the top of the ship area.
Well, that's not fun. That Botwoon loop is useless.
Yep. So you get to fight a boss just because you can fight a boss. So I believe Golden Shower is now going to go up to the right side over here. One's going up, one's going under, to see what they can find as far as randomized areas over here. All right, we got a locked door. Oh, infinite bomb jumps or criteria power bombs. Let's see what this door looks like.
Yeah, and another thing to note with that teammate communication, hopefully on the noob side, maybe only one of the runners will do the Botwoon fight and can inform the other one about the uselessness of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that worked out in Golden Shower's favor as well, where Junie ended up fighting the snake and told his teammate, don't bother, it just goes around in a circle. Interesting criteria power bombs. A super missile required to get through there, and this is going to take us. Ooh, this is a wreck ship area. This looks like progression.
Yeah, Golden Showers is getting to explore a little bit more, and you see that communication right now. You got a runner going up and a runner going down in this hub room, which is nice, effective routing.
Yep, and Junie's gonna head down and see what's in here. We have a Crocomire fight. Here comes another DLC boss.
And both of the noobs runners are kind of hand in hand here, just able to pick up those first pack of super missiles, which as far as we know right now, that's what's leading us a little further, as this, where the Golden Shower team finds themselves, was locked by a super missile door.
Yep.
Oh no, Croc, watch out, that bridge looks unstable.
Oh well. Is Junie gonna try to jump the chasm here? Yep, Junie's gonna go for it. 1E tank. Oh, and that's a speed booster! Important information. 11. Nope, he took a death. Not enough E-tanks to get across the river of lava.
Well, as stressful as that is, I think the information is more valuable than anything else, because Junie can definitely get back there pretty easily. And there we go, just like we said about trading deaths instead of trying to avoid them. Junie, making a good call, taking down Croc, getting the information, and that's gonna, just give them that edge a little bit as they keep moving forward here. No doubt we'll see noobs making their way over there quickly, though.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely seeing them explore the hub area in this criteria area here. Doing a double save, probably gonna both fight Botwoon. Is that what we're gonna see?
I sure hope not, but that seems to be what we're in for here.
Yep, so we're getting a double Botwoon fight from our Noobs BR team at the same time. So they're not really taking advantage of the fact that they can communicate and let one person explore and the other person kind of take these bad fights.
Well, and we have the distinct advantage of knowing that this doesn't pay out. For, in their shoes, you think about it for a second as the runners. If both of us are in here, the likelihood of one of us surviving this low percent fight is higher, and we at least get that knowledge. It's just unfortunate that we already know how this story ends.
Oh, that's true, definitely. Yeah, if you're both in here, you're right. It definitely increases your chances of surviving and exploring behind it. Asvel
And
sitting at 3 energy on this bot wound fight right now. It looks like the snake is in full swoop mode though, so Asvel should be safe from here on out as long as bot wound doesn't get any bright ideas.
well, as for Junie and Toasty, they have both found our first power bomb expansion. That is certainly a nice find and going to open up some different routing as we find rooms that can make use of power bomb for progression.
And I just saw Toasty go by where you can normally get to Edicoons. I don't remember seeing them go down that way. So I'm kind of wondering what's down below Edicoons now that we have power bombs.
Yeah, and I appreciate noobs really working hard, kind of grinding this low percent fight, but it's just more time they're not spending heading in the direction they need to go because this is just a loop. Now, fortunately, the loop will push them to where they need to go.
Right. Yeah, I think once they see that this goes nowhere, they know that they're going to have to start making some plays because this is a lot of wasted time on their end, and they probably know that.
Junie has returned to once again help my favorite DLC boss of this game take a dip in the lava.
Hey, what can I say? It's a refreshing bath.
This is Croc 2, the sequel. Ooh.
Croc 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Toasty making a big find there as what is normally leading to the Billy Mays room is that Kraid E-Tank room, and that's got our space jump, and that space jump puts the speed booster in logic.
Yep, so Junie's going to be pretty happy to hear about that. I wonder if they're going to trade now with Junie going left. Yep, and Toasty probably going to go fight Crocomire and grab that speed booster.
And we're seeing I'm gonna butcher the name again. Glaciao? How did you say it?
Glacio.
Glacio. I'm ashamed. I really am. I'm sorry, Glacio. I cannot remember how to pronounce your name. But we are seeing that same strat from Glacio and now Asvel as well after taking down Botsmoon. Gonna go for the save. And Glacio about to be very disappointed right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen chat refer to it as feels bad. So
yeah, that's a Monka S moment, I believe, is what the kids call it nowadays.
But for the time, not ideally used there, I will say.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I know it's hype. Go ahead.
Various suit over at Edicoons. We have our first suit, ladies and gentlemen.
And just in time, as Toasty finds a heated room right after that various suit pickup. But I do want to point out to the credit of Noobs BR, both of them able to grind out that low percent Botswoon fight, kind of dig their heels in, grit, and go for it. And impressive. It speaks to the testament and the skill of the runners here that we're seeing. So even though it is kind of a time sink that doesn't pay off, it takes skill.
And Eden, I would never forget you. You're awesome. Of course, we include everyone of every gender, no matter what you identify as. We want to make sure that everyone feels like they're included in these races, these commentations, tracking, you name it.
It is an awesome community to be a part of. So, yes, everyone is welcome.
So I learned something, and Eden's mentioning it in chat. This golden statue requires space jump to activate it. It doesn't matter if you can get over to it. If you try to land in those hands without space jump, it does nothing.
Yes, so space jump could be hard required depending on how this route point, tongue-tied, how this path leads out in the route.
I really haven't seen any other branching paths yet, though, so I'm thinking this is definitely what this seed is asking us to do.
And armed with wave beam, going to be able to go ahead right along with this Meridia wave gate. Keep proceeding forward.
Oh, we see the entrance into Lower Norfair. Let's be curious and see where this leads us. Ooh, baby Metroid area.
And we do now see Noobs BR is going to be making progress through that area where we know some of this progression has been found for the showers here. So something interesting to point out, though, about the baby Metroid area here is you're going to leave this room with 1 health. And there is no guarantee that the next room you walk into is going to have any mercy on you. So hopefully it's a nice, easy area or something with a save easily accessible. Because when Toasty steps out this door, we have no idea what we're going to see.
Oh,
See,
no!
like that.
Oh my word! So this is known as the Strut Hopper Room, and for good reason, because it can destroy you pretty quickly if you're not careful. But Toasty took care of both the hoppers, not a problem. Going through Mission Impossible and getting rewarded with a little more ammo.
Yep, see, that is exactly what I was talking about. But Toasty shown off. And unfortunately, if this route continues to be the path we have to take, all of our runners are going to have to be just as careful and precise as Toasty was in that room back there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Asville took another death. I'm not sure the last time that they saved. We'll have to see.
I believe Asville just saved. So we can
Okay.
take a sigh of relief there. Saved in that wreck ship save station right here.
Yeah, not a nice thing. Oh, a Spazer and a Screw Attack next to each other right here in the back of Gauntlet going straight up. So if you're used to running Super Metroid, something about this area rando, or the way that this specific rando works, is you can go backwards through rooms that normally in vanilla game you're not supposed to be able to go backwards through, and we got a dead end on the other side of it.
So I don't know if we missed any other branches off of this baby Metroid path, but this seems to be like it leads to nothing as far as I can tell. Well, Screw Attack and Spazer are nice. They're certainly quality of life items in this case.
We do see a gray door there, so that's a one-way door. So we have to go down. Ooh, wave required opposing to the end of Crocomire here.
Oh, and I can immediately put my foot in my mouth there because I didn't realize that we had not checked that bottom door first. So, yep, this baby Metroid path is still producing some new information here.
And that Space Jump Screw Attack helping get through the front of Gauntlet there pretty easily. So I would say going and checking those items is not required because you can get through there without them, but definitely, like you said, quality of life to get through that room quickly.
No doubt. When you can have Screw Attack for the Gauntlet blocks or even those columns in the lower Norfair corridors, it just makes such a huge difference. And a huge hub room here as Toasty has stumbled upon Big Pink.
Yeah, so Big Pink can branch in many, many, many different ways. We're going to go up to the save room first. Not a bad call by Toasty, because there's so many different directions you can go. And as we keep saying, any of these directions could lead to a one-way direction, and then you're forced to go that direction.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Rando, but not Route Rando, you're going to be seeing, as we've said a number of times, a lot more saving than you're used to seeing in these speed runs. Oh, and unfortunately, Asvel taking a death there. I would imagine the last save is that one up in the ship, but gets the information about the croc fight. I don't think Asvel took a peek, though, to finish that fight. So Asvel still doesn't know about the speed booster that's sitting just at the end of that corridor to the right.
Yeah, so to answer chat's question, the rooms, any room could technically be one way because of gray doors. Doors that close behind you become gray, and then there's no way to open them. No beam, no ammo will open them in the game. They're just closed forever until something happens, like you kill a certain boss or things like that.
And speaking of bosses, Toasty has stumbled upon Kraid, which is going to be the first major boss fight we've seen. Although we've seen 3 DLC bosses already. But yeah, Toasty's going to be the first of our runners to take on a major boss today. And just to speak to what you were saying, Sinneth, so that gray door above Kraid's room, that doesn't unlock until you do the Kraid fight. So with that Kraid, we call it like a little, maybe a Kraid hub. Yeah, whatever door you come in, the other door remains locked until you take. And Toasty ensuring that Kraid does not rise to power here. Nice quick fight.
No Kraid problem today.
And Toasty may not be familiar. That I know I just learned this in the route, Rando. There is no door in the back of Kraid's room. So Toasty did a little exploring there. Really nice damage boost, though, to efficiently move through that room. But yeah, Toasty did a little exploring, couldn't find anything, and heads out, makes the good call, goes north, grabs grapple beam in the Terminator room.
Yeah, and we can't forget that most of Big Pink hasn't been explored yet. We went to the first door, and it led us basically into Kraid.
And while we see kind of Noobs BR is kind of covering the ground we already saw as they're getting that green Bryn hub cleared out, and we see Junie June is going to be doing a match here with the baby Metroid, which is going to lead to that side hopper room immediately on 1 energy. So at least Junie June should have the information, having Toasty already been through this way, about the dangers that ensue behind door number 1.
Yeah, definitely. And Noobs BR gets the information for the first time of where the Variasuit is. So now Noobs has that Variasuit. They have the knowledge. They will be able to get both players on that Variasuit.
And Junie June does a very nice job to navigate through there. It did have some stuff to pop in the reserve that I didn't notice. So was not truly on 1 maybe, but
Still didn't take any damage. That was the important part.
And we'll touch on this for just a second here. The bosses. So the way the bosses work in this route, Rando, is they're only required if you're required to pass through them to get through the route or to get an item that is required for the route. Except for Fantoon, there is 1 room where Fantoon unlocks a door, and you may not see it until the very end. So Fantoon may or may not be required based on if that room shows up in the path that you need to take.
Yeah, so these rooms could lead you directly towards Torian and the Zebetite room right before you go fight Mother Brain, and then you would have to go through escape. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that escape is vanilla.
No, actually, the escape is randomized as well.
Oh, hey, even better.
So, yeah, you really have no idea what's happening until you're done. And even then, once you're done, did you even know what happened?
It's all about the things that we learned along the way, and we didn't learn very much.
Yeah, I've resorted to just trying to call the action as it happens, because trying to remember how all these rooms connect, watching 4 different runners do it, it just, yeah. That's all I have to say about that. But Toasty so far is kind of setting the pace for Discovery. Toasty took a little bit of an early lead, and just as far as information goes, Noobs BR hot on the tail. They're definitely in the right direction. But as we saw, if you're just joining us or joining late here, as we saw, the both members of Noobs BR kind of got hung up on the Batwoon fight, and turned out to just be a loop back to the beginning. And unfortunately, both of those runners had to fight through that. Golden Shower had the advantage. Only 1 runner did that, got the disappointing news, and promptly informed the teammate.
Yeah, definitely. But that's not to say that Noobs BR is counted out for this race. This is route rando. So anything can happen, and it's, the worst situation on any level that you can think of. So if for some reason, Golden Shower ends up going in a direction that is not the correct direction, even with Toasty being well off in the lead as far as progressing in a single direction, it is possible that Noobs BR could go a different direction and find a shorter route or the correct route to Mother Brain.
Yeah, could also stumble upon a very required item as well. And speaking of required items, we do see the grapple beam granting access in the, I think they call it the pants room right before Shack Tool. And the only way to get through that block in the ceiling is the grapple beam. That grapple beam was locked by Kraid. So if this route produces anything, whether it's a helpful item or even just, the path to take, that's going to make Kraid required.
Going through another boss door here to enter Torian, and that gets us over to Bubble Mountain. Ooh, this is another nice little hub area with a ton of exits.
Toasty opening doors. I'm surprised Toasty's not going for the save. Toasty.
All right, well, at least Toasty can reverse if needed, but it looks like we're going through the X-ray area. And Toasty's just kind of, chilling, vibing out, going one direction, and, giving his teammate information of where he's been and where he's going.
Yeah, I honestly forget where Wave Beam was. I think I was gonna say, I think Asvel's about to stumble upon it. So Asvel gets that good information. Wave Beam is definitely going to be required as far as we know, because the route that we've seen Golden Showers take is locked behind a Meridia Wave Gate. I think there was even another Wave Gate too. So Asvel with good intel, as well as a little bit of a damage boost as well. They've been sitting on charge for a long time, so...
Meanwhile, Junie just took down Kraid. No prom today for Team Golden Shower. So the Kraid is going to have to sit at home all alone with their white dress.
I would have thought the dress would have been green.
Yeah, that's true. I guess prom dresses are getting more colorful nowadays, aren't they?
And I appreciate how on Junie's side, if you, maybe the runners, if anyone in chat or at home noticed, picked up the grapple beam, but then just kind of turned around because had the information that continuing that Kraid route was a dead end. So again, good communication and good execution from both teams. We've been seeing that where one runner gets the information and the kind of second runner to the party is able to optimize their route just a little more smoothly.
Yeah, and which, like you said, is very important because the way that this match is going to be decided is the average time of both runners. So it doesn't matter if one teammate finishes way off in the lead if the second teammate is way behind. The Noobs BR could still finish first because of their average time.
And something to appreciate here. Ooh, Spring Ball making an appearance. I believe that Spring Ball, some of the rooms are changed just slightly in this, that Spring Ball does have a hard requirement somewhere if it's needed to pass their room. But something I do want to point out is Toasty finds speed booster blocks here. Junie actually has the speed booster already, so he's going to be able to move through that a little more smoothly, but probably won't need to because we find out from Toasty, who perseveres over those pesky blocks, it's just a missile tank sitting up there.
Yep, so this is a dead end. Toasty's going to have to turn around, but this is also where Toasty can give information to Junie saying, hey, by the way, when you see this area, don't bother, it's a dead end.
And I see chat has mentioned the Aurora Borealis that is localized entirely in Mr. Skinner's kitchen. And a big croc fight over here on Glacio's side is going to be rewarded very nicely with the speed booster. Second runner to pick that up today. And with the various suit damage reduction here, might have enough to eke out. Yep, and is going to be able to survive that lava bath. So
Not
able
going
to
to be
hold
fun
on.
going on 22, but they do have a reserve, so it's not terrible, but it's not great.
Yeah, should get some health too from the collapsing croc corpse.
Meanwhile, Asvel is going through the baby area for the first time for Team Noobs BR. So we're gonna have to see how Asvel is going to handle the Strat Hopper room, and then if Glacio is gonna be a little more careful entering this area because this is super dangerous. And just nope, right the heck out of there. I don't blame him. I do not blame him.
Asvel doing exactly what we were all thinking. I want nothing to do with that room. Thank you very much. But
that was kind of like a thanks, I hate it.
digging in the heels though and making a good play. Asvel takes down the side hoppers, grabs that super pack, but more importantly, is furthering the progressive route here and the information that Noobs BR has.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Toasty found the back of Escape, where you are having to go through a certain area, found a dead end. I don't believe there was any great items down that way, so definitely getting through here.
Yeah, I definitely be asking Toasty and Asvel how they felt post baby room.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially since, this doesn't get you very far. It does get you to a nice little refill eventually, which is nice. All right, chat. So I believe we're looking for a gravity suit. We could also be looking for ice to get through terrain a little faster if we do end up getting to a place where Metroids are. There's a lot of things that we could need.
Yeah, and to answer your question in chat, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, if the room has a name, but it's a green room. It kind of looks like it's part of the it has the same color scheme as the gold statue room. It looks like it could be something just like outside of a wreck ship area. But yeah, I believe it's added specifically for this run as far as the requirement goes, but it's can appear, may not appear. Yeah, so and with that in mind, we actually haven't seen Fantoon, Ridley, or Dragon make an appearance yet today.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if we're going to see any of the other Golden Four as we kind of explore each of these routes that we need to go between.
And Asvel making the same choice, going to go ahead and grab that save here as finding another major hub room of Big Pink for Noobs BR's side.
It looks like Toasty exhausted the area behind where we've been. It looks like Toasty's doing a 180 and kind of making a backtrack. So a lot of time getting information of where to go is a good thing. That might put Junie and Toasty more closer together as far as where they actually are in the game.
Yeah, I think it's just as important you know where not to go as it is you know where to go. So, yeah, and like you said a couple of minutes ago, there is no way to call anything just yet. Definitely too early, and with Toasty spending as much time going around some of that route that was just taken, that's time for the other runners to make a chance to catch up as well and progress through. Especially since I don't think that grapple beam led to anything super important. I could be wrong. If chat, feel free to correct me. I'm no stranger to putting my foot in my mouth there, but as far as I know, I think that grapple beam was a little bit of bait so far.
And I mean, it could be required down the line because, like you said, this is rando route, so we don't know what we're going to run into until we run into it. The runners don't know what they're going to run into until they run into it. So honestly, every item that you get is important, in my opinion. Granted, Grapple Beam has probably seen its amount of efficiency by now with having space jump, but you never know.
Ooh, and Asvel is how do you say, taking Kraid to the prom, is so to say.
Oh, Kraid gets to go to prom one time in this race. Bet Kraid is happy about that.
And Asvel still pretty quickly taking down Kraid despite having to go through a little bit of a dance. But there you can see, chat, there is no door on the back half of the Kraid room. So Asvel is going to get access to that top room, which is a dead end, but leads to the grapple beam. So
yeah, we'll have to see if Noobs BR takes the quote-unquote bait, as we've been calling it, to get out of this area and follows that grapple beam through the Shack Tool Pants area.
Yeah, you know, I'd hate to say it in a way that because I'm not positive that there was 0 in that route, but I don't remember anything of note showing up. And based on the fact that Toasty is heading back towards the main hub that we found earlier, kind of left the big pink area, I'm thinking that nothing turned out in that grapple beam loop. And as far as I know, that's the only requirement that grapple beam
we
has.
have a Ridley fight. So yeah, once Toasty turned around and told Junie, hey, this is a dead end, Junie ended up going a different direction in the hub room, and that direction led him towards the Ridley fight. Let's fight the dragon, chat.
And at a nice super missile count, too. So I think 35 missiles ammo in tow there. So Ridley is super weak to super missiles. And so they will be doing double damage. So you want to try to land as many supers as you can. 30 supers clean is going to be a kill. I'm not sure if we had a few missed here or there. So, but Junie is
I'm pretty sure we have
so that's it. Yeah. And there's your DLC number 3, as you called it. Toasty is taking on Gold Torizo down there in the bottom.
Yep. So we have just about every DLC boss making a showing here. Oh, and Gravity Suit behind Ridley. There is our progression.
Yeah, that Ridley route with that missile tank room is a dead end, but it's a closet you want to stumble upon because there's some swanky new threads in there. Junie able to pick up Gravity Suit and pass that information along to Toasty as well.
So as far as our major items, I would say Golden Shower is in the lead right now. But you know, we have to keep reminding ourselves that these routes can go anywhere. These can be dead ends after dead ends. Now it just turns into getting enough ammo. Actually, we have charge beams, so not even enough ammo. We just need to find Mother Brain and kill Mother Brain at this point.
Yeah, Charge Wave Spazer is not the most fun amount of time spent. It's going to be a lot of charge shots. Sitting at 35 supers is not the worst I've seen in one of these runs, but certainly, you know, you hope to find more as you go along.
Ooh, Toasty, you got to be careful here. You're sitting on very little life coming through here. All right, he's got it. All right, so it looks like Toasty may have found a next progression area. Not sure you can get out of here without a gravity suit.
Yeah, that looks like that's going to be the logic chain there. Junie able to find the gravity suit on a different path and can now go ahead and walk through that. Oh yeah, Toasty has Spring Ball, so I'm not sure if something else could have been done there, but either way, we do know how to put this together, so...
Yeah, again, very important passing along that information. It's just going to turn into, can you communicate that information in a way to your teammate to guide them there? Because trying to put these rooms together in your head when you're so used to running this vanilla can definitely be a challenge.
And I see chat making a great point, and our tracker kind of confirming that suspicion. With these kind of like logical paths that you have to follow through, like we said, there is a straight line that's going to lead to the end. Because that room is gravity suit locked, technically, we can imagine that there's a good chance that there's more water rooms next to it. So no point in progressing when Toasty has the information that grav is available.
Yeah, why make it harder on yourself when you can just go get gravity? Meanwhile, Junie's spending a little bit of time getting an ammo refill here. Not a bad idea, because you never know when you're going to need that ammo.
And I think this is the first time that Glacio's been down this way. Although with all the rooms connecting that we've seen so far, I honestly kind of forget what's down this way. So
I don't blame you. There's a lot for our runners, for us, for the tracker. So yeah, there's just a lot to try and piece together, and hopefully you got a good notepad next to you.
Okay, so that is the entrance to this nice green Brinstar hub area. So that's gonna open a lot of options for Glacio.
Speaking of our runners trying to keep everything straight in their heads and hoping that they have a good piece of paper next to them to know where they are, be sure to follow each of our runners. They do make great content while they're not racing. We could not do this without them. So go give them some cool emotes. Hang out in their chat. They definitely appreciate the follows and the views. That's what it's about when you're doing this, is making sure that you have the people there to support you.
Yeah, for sure. Like we said a few times, great community to be a part of. So highly encourage you to check out these runners on your own, get to know them. And Toasty has decided that it is time to grab the speed booster. Is armed with space jump, so this is going to be a much more accessible item for Toasty to grab. But that unfortunately means that my favorite Crocomire is going to have to take another dip.
Yep. Oh, poor Glacio didn't quite get the lineup to do a speed up into Billy Mays area. Gets it on the second try. But also, speaking of people you should be following, you should be following Eden8. Eden8 is another great content creator here on Twitch. Eden8 is our tracker today. And give my co-commentator 329th in line a huge follow as well.
Well, thank you very much, Sineth. Be sure to follow my co-com, Sineth. Been awesome to work in the booth together. And right now, after Croc goes down on Toasty's side, Ridley makes an appearance for Asvel. So Ridley showing up a lot earlier in the run as far as routing goes for Noobs BR. I think the Showers explored a little more before they took on this Ridley fight. So be interested to see. I think Asvel's going to be happy to be able to pull Gravity Suit out of this.
Yep, and that's probably going to push Glacio towards getting that gravity a lot sooner as well. I do believe Glacio is decently close to the hub, where Toasty had to kind of do a large 180 just to get over here.
Yeah, and that speaks right to what we were talking about just a few minutes ago, is just based on the different routing that we've seen, Noobs BR is going to have Gravity Suit knowledge by the time they get to that Gravity Suit lock in the Precious Room. So that alone could be a huge time save for them to be able to move through that. So before we can get to the Gravity Suit, though, Asvel has to kind of dig in, bite the bullet here, and survive this Ridley fight.
Oh
And
no!
unfortunately, yeah, I saw the reserve tanks procced, and I figured that a tense moment was coming. Unfortunately, Asvel takes a death. I imagine we had a save relatively recently. I hope. I know it's in, hopefully, that green Brinstar hub, but we'll see.
Meanwhile, Junie is working on progression for Team Golden Shower, killing Golden Chorizo right now. Working on a little trick here where if you have less than 30 regular missiles, he'll start dropping super missiles and missiles. If you have more than 30 missiles, all he's going to do is drop missiles.
And a slight kind of bummer moment here for the Noobs BR information is Asvel was in the area to pick up a huge progression in the gravity suit, but after taking that death to Ridley is deciding to explore some other areas first, which makes perfect sense. Again, think for Asvel, like, all right, I don't like the Ridley fight, low percent. I'm going to try to find something like Plasma Beam or Gravity Suit, something that's going to give me a little more defense or a little more of a punch. Unfortunately, as we know, based on the exploration we've seen, there's nothing else really out here that's going to help. And that's a hallmark of this mode that I've been noticing over the last week is low percent, hard rooms or hard boss fights. It's kind of, goes hand in hand with this mode. So it appears, as far as what we know, that low percent Ridley fight is just something that we're going to have to grit our teeth and kind of push through.
Yeah, definitely. This low percent Ridley fight is required. It is locking our gravity suit, and overall locking the progression that Junie is moving towards right now.
Yeah, so you can't fault Asvel's play right here. It makes perfect sense. And Glacio doing the same thing. It makes perfect sense based on what they know. And grabbing an extra super pack definitely helps with the Ridley fight. It is going to put Asvel over the 30 mark. But we want to see Asvel double time it over and go ahead with Ridley sooner rather than later.
Yeah. And it looks like Glacio is going to be getting the information that this is the route progression forward. We need to find gravity to get through this area. So we know that we're about to find out on Noobs BR that this is the way to go forward, but gravity's somewhere behind them. Oh, an ice beam over on Junie's side to make touring a little bit easier.
That is an exciting find. Unfortunately, with the Ice Beam find on Junie's side, we also have a death to GT on Glacio's side. That is another fight that is super difficult on low. Look at this though. Like we can't we can't overstate this here. One E-tank, I think maybe one reserve tank and various suit on just a charge wave combo. I mean, I couldn't do a GT fight with that loadout. So
yeah,
Glacio
definitely.
Really, like, I might have overused the expression, but digging in the heels and trying to get it done. This is not easy.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something where I feel like you kind of need to be familiar with. In the Golden Chorizo fight, there is a specific spot that you can sit where Golden Chorizo cannot harm you. You can basically sit there and charge beam up into his face all day long and kill him. It would be very slow, but you can do it. You can also launch a ton of super missiles into his face, and he'll eventually die that way. But you need the ammo. You need to know that spot. If you don't know either of those, then yeah, that fight's very hard.
And if there's ever a mode where I'll give myself grace on missing pickups, it's definitely this one. I'm a little perplexed at how we have such a varying ammo difference here. We've got 35 supers on Junie's side, 30 supers for Asvel, but Glacio's sitting at 10 super missiles. So I think there might have been one pack up here.
I want to say a little bit of that comes from the information sharing that we're having, where our runners will say, hey, I found supers here, and then that's a dead end. So the other runner might be like, okay, if that's a dead end, I'm not going that way. which decreases their super amount.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. And something I want to go back to a comment I made about 20 minutes ago or so. The grapple point in the pants room actually did lead to space jump. So I'm gonna say grapple was definitely required then.
That's definitely a thought that space jump is required because I mean we did have to get through the lava dive room, which space jump is required to get through there. We had to get through some of these Meridia areas that Junie's exploring, and these are a lot easier with a space jump. Oh, and the GT check required space jump. So yeah, I would definitely say that grapple was required here. So going that direction and grabbing grapple was not a bad choice.
And we're definitely seeing some progression here on Junie's side, able to move forward freely with the gravity suit here.
Yeah, so that gravity suit is definitely hard locking a lot of things that Junie is exploring. Could you do this without gravity suit? Yeah, with a lot of trouble. I mean, we have high jump, we have ice, which I believe is locked back here. But we also have spring ball, so you could do spring ball jumps. It wouldn't be fun, but I think you could do it. I think the hardest part would be getting out of the Dragon room.
Unfortunately for Junie, that top path in the aqueduct area, it just leads to a missile tank, which Junie seems to be contemplating if even wants to keep. Thought maybe it might see a reset. Junie did just save down here in this, just a few rooms away, but is going to go with it. 100 missiles is it gives you some ammo to spare for end game, that's for sure. But speaking of ammo to spare, with the pickup of that ice beam, we're sitting at a pretty nice beam combo. It is very rare that I see charge, ice wave, and spazer. Only thing that would make our day better for the runners here would be a plasma beam discovery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get that full crispy combo would be very nice. And meanwhile, Noobs is doing a little bit of exploring, a little bit of information gathering, trying to find out where they need to go. Because we know that there's a Golden Chorizo fight, we know that there's a Ridley fight, which are both low percent fights, and I don't think our runners want to do either of those fights without fully exploring their options to see what they can get for ammo, energy, or other directions they may be able to go. It does look like Asvel is going to take on the dragon one more time, though. So let's wish Asvel some luck. Get some hype in the chat. Let's see if we can get that gravity suit for Team Noobs BR.
And to cut, not to cut you off, but to couple with hype in the chat, Junie has put the pieces together. Junie has found the Mother Brain room, and there was no Phantoon door, so Phantoon does not need to make an appearance. Junie is sitting pretty with items here as far as a high missile count. Going to be able to take down Mother Brain relatively with ease compared to some of the seeds we've seen. And Asvel, second time around, rocks Ridley and is going to be bringing down the space pirate leader there, or general or whatever. The dragon.
Yep, and Toasty's also on the Ridley fight. So we had 3 bosses on the screen at one time. So now we're back down to 2 bosses. Some awesome fights going on here right now.
Yeah, Asvel collecting change of clothes and has everything to put the pieces of the steed together. We know that Gravity Suit was that last little bit that connected the legs to get us to where Junie finds the Mother Brain fight. It's also going to be good information for Glacio because Asvel can communicate the importance of that low percent Ridley fight. Like, hey, don't look for anything else. You're not going to find it. Go take on Ridley. You need to.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then for Noobs BR, it's just going to be putting the pieces together to know that the Golden Chorizo low percent fight is the way forward after getting the gravity suit.
Unfortunately, Glacio taking a death down there. I don't know how far back this specific save is. I don't see Grapple Beam, although I don't remember if Glacio specifically picked up Grapple Beam. But we'll
Meanwhile,
have to...
Ridley, the boss of the pirates, is taking another death over on Toasty's screen, which is going to push Toasty closer towards Mother Brain. It's just going to be getting the gravity suit and making his way over there.
I do want to laugh there for a second. Toasty kind of jumped over the gravity suit. I would imagine Toasty knew gravity suit was there, although Toasty may have only known that it was after Ridley, not necessarily the next item. So saw a little hesitation. Toasty doubled back to pick that up. Super important item. Definitely don't want to leave it behind.
Yeah. All right, so Mother Brain 2 is slowly getting its life sucked away from it by the baby Metroid. Junie is about to gain the Hyper Beam and gonna have to figure out how to get out of escape now.
Yeah, and Glacio is doubling back for some items here. So I'd imagine Glacio lost a little bit of progression, which is a bummer. It's tough. This is such a hard mode to run. It's incredibly difficult, and the rooms are, in a lot of cases, as we saw with that side hopper room, unforgiving. So, you know, Glacio putting on a good show, putting on a strong run, just unfortunately taking that death there. So is going to be making progression back to kind of catch up to where they were a few seconds ago, or a few minutes ago, but is still going to need to go ahead and grab that low percent Ridley fight to be rewarded with swimming trunks.
So as much as we can't technically call the race yet, I do want to say that Golden Shower looks like that they are in the lead right now. Both players have suits. Both players have the information of where Mother Brain 1 is. And Noobs BR knows where the suit is, but not the progression forward. So this is going to turn into can Noobs BR make the plays at the right times to catch up? This is going to be the law of averages, as we said in the beginning, where both players' times are going to be averaged together, and then we see who wins based on the average. Right now, I believe Toasty and Junie are ahead average-wise.
Yeah, well, this early finish on Toasty's side is going to help bring down, even if Toasty takes a little bit of time to finish putting the pieces together, it's definitely going to help the average. Something that I am noticing right now is Asphalt doesn't appear to have the speed booster, and I'm pretty sure that some of that for the water stuff, I don't know if it was required, but I know we definitely saw Junie making use of it, so it'll be interesting to see if Asvel has to take the time to go all the way back to Croc to get speed booster, but I don't want to say that for certain because I'm not sure if it ended up being hard required or if it just helped with exploration. But we see Junie here is looking for the way out with this randomized escape. Which door do I take? How do I get out of this sense of urgency? Something about the planet about to blow up or something like that. I'm not sure. I wasn't listening.
And what we did see while exploring to find a way out, that Junie accidentally saved the animals, making Metroid Fusion canon.
Yeah, it's a good game in its own right. Glad we can still follow the storyline. Yeah, and you see how frustrating this escape sequence can be, as following the route that Junie did is now requiring all this doubling back. So it's probably the most stressful escape mode, right? Most escape is, you know, take my beefed up item pool and head out of here. But in this case, Junie having to do a little exploration, finding yet another dead end door. So how do we get out of here?
I'm also wondering what happens if Junie dies here, not having enough time. Oh, never mind. There it is. We're at the main area where the ship is. So before I could say it, Junie finds his way out, and that is good game for Junie. Let's get those GGs in the chat.
Yeah, GG's Junie June. Awesome display. Really efficient routing and just good execution all around. Definitely an enjoyable race to watch. And not only does it feel good to finish with a good time, Junie is also going to be able to arm Toasty with all the knowledge for Toasty to finish the seed and put it together. But Toasty's going to have to hustle because Noobs is making some progress. They are on the... They're following the breadcrumbs pretty efficiently here. Going to be finding pretty much the same those same final items to piece it together. I think Asvel, besides being unsure about the speed booster, I think Asvel has everything to reach Mother Brain at this point.
Yeah, definitely. So in order for Noobs BR to win at this point, correct me if I am wrong, but both runners on Noobs BR would have to finish and kill Mother Brain before Toasty finishes Mother Brain.
That sounds good to me, as far as information goes. Oh, and with a little bit in the reserve tank, Glacio manages to tank a hit from that side hopper there, and is going to go back in here. Actually, is not going to go back in. Does not want to risk the death. So can't blame Glacio there. That is an awful, very rude thing. But as to your comment about the averages, I am so bad at math it's not even funny. So I don't want to say anything. All I know is when we calculate the average times, that's when I'll feel good about who got what. But if somebody in chat who is much better with numbers than I am wants to... Oh, and unfortunately from one side hopper room to another, Glacio finds a little bit of an increase there, as instead of 2, Glacio gets to face down 3 side hoppers and only gets a missile tank for it. So Glacio's got to be careful on 67 health.
Definitely. So now that Junie has finished the game, his role in this race is not over. So Junie gets to fully dedicate his attention to what Toasty is doing and help him get through these rooms, tell him where to go, how to get there, and get there in the quickest way possible in order for their team to win.
Yeah, Toasty showing off how nice it is to have screw attack when you go through that room in Lower Norfair. And yeah, there we go. There's the precious room. So that is the progressive line that Toasty needed to find. So that's why that gravity suit was required. I mean, it's also required for some of the other rooms to come, but that was kind of the turning point when Junie found that and turned around, able to pick up gravity suit. That kind of pieced it all together for us.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I believe if I remember these next following rooms correctly, Toasty just needs to eventually find Aqueduct and go straight through Aqueduct. Don't explore. Grab an Ice Beam while we're here, because, you know, Ice Beam's going to be nice to get through those Metroid rooms that are coming up.
Yeah, it's such a big find, it's giving me chills. No.
I see what you did there.
And can't find the Ice Beam too soon, right? Because apparently right after Ice Beam, just north of that find was the Metroid room. I missed that on Junie's side.
Yep.
And if gravity suit wasn't required before, right? A nice little lava dive as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was kind of saying earlier, is that you need the space jump, you need the gravity suit, because... you know, you can't get out of Precious for one, and then getting through Lava Dive, yeah, it just turns into a good luck. Let's hope that you're good at doing, like, high jumpless Lava Dive, and I don't know what kind of trick you would need to get through Precious, but I'm sure that there is a trick to get through Precious.
And we do see Asvel taking on that... low percent GT fight, is in a little better shape, being decked out with a gravity suit as far as quartering all damage that's taken, but still 1 E tank, and I don't think we've seen more than 2 reserve tanks, so it might even just be the 1. Asvel's still having to be super careful and kind of thread the needle here. And Glacio picking up high jump boots. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So Asvel is in that spot I was talking about a little bit earlier, that sweet spot where you can sit and just charge beam down the Golden Chorizo. So not a terribly hard fight once you get into the spot, it's just getting into the spot before taking too much damage. And Asvel has everything that they need in order to get through the next areas here. So this is going to lead directly to the Mother Brain area, as long as it's routed correctly.
Yep, and this is that precious room for Asvel right here. So on the hot on the tail to put this together, picking up another E-tank for Toasty and power bombs of shame there. Definitely a good find, getting ready to head into the Mother Brain fight.
Glacio, having taken a bunch of deaths throughout this whole run, is decently far behind our runners too. Trying to retrack and get some items in order to fight low percent Ridley and fight low percent GT. I will say that no matter what the result is, this route was gross for all four of our runners. Definitely a very nice showing by all four of them to get through here.
And Asvel's gotta hold on here. Get those Metroids in the power bomb range. Asvel did not go forward and grab Ice Beam. So yeah, not only is missing out on the damage output, but does not get to freeze those Metroids. So finds down to 76 health and whatever is in the reserve tanks.
Excuse me. Toasty making a save here. Aqueduct already knows the direction that we need to go, but never a bad idea to make extra saves while you're moving through these areas, because you never know when you could run into a bad room and just take too much damage and have a death. I do believe that Toasty is going the wrong way, though. This is not the progression that you need to go through. If I want to remark correctly, if you go through Aqueduct and go the other way, which it looks like he's just getting that information from Junie, no, don't go up. You want to go left here.
Yeah, I think there was a super missile, although it might have just been a regular missile pack at the end of that run. So I thought maybe it was going up there for just a little to deal a little extra damage, but no, you are correct. They're getting a hasty corrective information from the teammate there and able to correct the route. And Glacio is going to be going toe-to-toe or to tango here with Kraid. We'll see if Kraid makes the rise to power on Glacio's side. And Toasty piecing the rest of it together with, I think, 95 regular missiles and 25 supers. Is probably in feeling comfortable as far as damage output here.
Yep, and it looks like Toasty is going to do a Zebetite skip, get through it on the first try, going to put on that screw attack again, and go face off with Mother Brain 1.
And Glacio able to crush that quick kill. Gets rid of Kraid and is going to be able to go ahead and grab. Okay, so Glacio was inspecting that back room for, or the back of the room for that door. With the quick kill, the camera doesn't pan, so went to reload the room, and I guess I was not familiar with that until I started watching some of this stuff too. So in this route, as we've said before, that back room is erased.
All right, so we have Charge, Spazer, and Wave in order to face off with Mother Brain 2. Gonna utilize the power bombs here a little bit to get the special Spazer beam.
Yeah, and this is one of those, out here in the booth or out at home, have the advantage. Asvel is fighting tooth and nail to get through these Metroid rooms. It's a shame because Asvel walked right past the ice beam and would have had just a more pleasant experience getting through there. Definitely not required, can still make the progression as we're seeing Asvel go through it, but just would have been nice to ease some of the stress there.
Definitely.
But I do believe that Asvel is where the route ends. that power bomb door up to the left, just above this save room, is going to be our route to Mother Brain.
Yeah, so Asvel is going to find the end of the game here pretty quick, which means that Glacio will get a lot of help from Asvel as soon as they finish. But I don't think it's going to be in time because Toasty is just finishing up Mother Brain 3 and about to get that Hyper Beam, and should have a lot of an easier time to get through Escape because Junie will be helping him through that route.
Yeah, not going to have to deal with the, I think our amazing tracker pointed out, the trolliest of escapes. That was a rough one, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It was all like, hey, you want to do escape backwards, right?
Yeah, we had to check pretty much every door before we finally went to the end, right? So.
Yeah, pretty much. Hopefully Junie remembers it and we're not going to take any wrong turns, but I mean, with the way that Toasty took a 180 at the top of Aqueduct, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem.
Yeah, I would imagine Junie is still having flashbacks of the horrors even right now as we speak.
Yeah, but even having to save the animals, unfortunately.
See, you gotta show some love. I like a good save of the animals, but Asvel, not having picked up ice, not having picked up speed booster, is stuck doing this Zebetite the regular way. Is going to be able to get those missiles refilled though, at that room right before Mother Brain. But yeah, Asvel has put it together, and no doubt is informing teammate Glacio that we know the way.
Mm-hmm. It does look like that Asvel is not going... Oh, never mind. As soon as I thought he wasn't going to turn around, he turns around.
Yeah, had enough missiles to go ahead and do a full clear of the glass as well. Hoping for some supers there, since this missile tank does not refill your supers, but yeah, able to break the glass and go ahead and proceed. So
I may have spent a little more time and refilled my missiles, and then go through that room where the those things are just laying there, and use those to refill my supers to fight Mother Brain. But I mean, I guess everyone has their own way of doing this, especially when you have Charge Beam. You don't have to worry so much about not having enough ammo on this. It makes the fight longer, definitely, but
yeah, I think something else I noticed was the energy is important too, because we are still on 2 tanks and a reserve tank, and I don't know the exact crunch of the numbers, but I know the Mother Brain Rainbow Beam drains some portion of health, so Asvel may just be on the cusp of enough health to survive that, and that might have been the real motivator.
So depending on the amount of reserve tanks that Asvel currently has, they actually might not have enough energy right now to fight Mother Brain. It requires 300 energy to fight that Rainbow Beam. If you don't have 300, then you die. So you can have 2 tanks and 1 reserve and go through it, but you need full life.
Yeah, so that would make more sense about, because I was thinking the missile refill too, but that would make more sense on why Asvel chose to grab the energy refill instead. I wasn't even thinking about our energy count, but it has been low this whole game. And Junie does communicate to Toasty how to navigate through that maze, so get your GGs in chat. Toasty landing in the ship is going to be able to put this ridiculous seed to bed here. And with that, with both of our runners on the left finishing ahead of the Noobs BR, that average is definitely going to be enough to give them the W for today.
GG's to Golden Shower. We'll see if they want to join. Actually, they're doing a round 2 right after this, so we're probably not going to see an interview because we're having yet another race with both of these teams facing off against each other right after this one. So chat, be sure you don't leave this channel. We're going to be here for another race, and we'll have to see who's going to take the overall on this.
Well, no doubt Noobs BR is going to be out for blood, out for a little bit of revenge, because they fought hard and raced really well. So it just happened to not work out with some of those low percent fights and taking deaths on very challenging rooms and even more challenging late game bosses with little to nothing available. And I think that Asvel is getting the information there. Yeah, putting the numbers together, does not have enough health to survive that and has to take the death. But I would imagine with the information of the finish, I would not be surprised to see them just kind of hang up the hat for this one with another game, on the schedule immediately. So
Yeah, we're getting information right now from the race room that Asvel is doing a forfeit after taking that death, after seeing both runners finish, knowing that there's really no way that they could win at this point. Just with the law of averages, it's just now let's prep for the next race and let's make it a good one.
yeah, definitely a commendable play though, because both Glacio and Asvel put on great showings, and I imagine, like we said, they'll be hunting for revenge here because they certainly this race could have gone either way, especially for different points, not just early on, but several times there were some discoveries that could have gone either way. It just worked out in the shower's favor today.
Yeah, definitely. So, as we're saying in this chat, be sure to stick around. We're doing yet another race right after this one. And guess what? It's going to be myself and 320th in line doing commentary once again. And I believe Eden 8 also doing the tracking one more time. So, be sure to stick around if you've enjoyed this race and spending time with us. If you're enjoying supporting these runners, again, go follow each of their channels. Go give them a huge high five if they're still in emote only mode, or give them a nice GG if they're not in emote only mode and prepping for the next race.
That is for sure. These runners deserve all the love, all the support. Let them know that you totally dig what's going on and just have an awesome time, checking out these very entertaining races. Show some support, show some love, and get in the Super Metroid Randomizer Discord. Join the community if you're not already, because it is a great place to just get to make some awesome friends and just share in something that is just so entertaining and fun to be a part of here. So thank you as always for joining us for such a great race, and we do hope you'll stick around for another one, because this doubleheader is like we said, Noobs BR is going to be hot for revenge right now. So an enjoyable race is sure to be had. I see Toasty jumping in the chat there. Yes, this was an unhealthy seed to say the least. And if you get a chance to ask Junie, didn't get to say anything because we're not having the post-race interview, but if you get to say anything to Junie, I'd love to know how that side hopper room after the baby Metroid room felt. So please do stick around, though. And yeah, we'll see you here in just a few minutes.
All right, chat, welcome back for this doubleheader back-to-back race, Golden Shower versus Noobs BR. How is everyone in chat doing today? Golden Shower drew first blood in the first race and got the first win. Now we're going to have to see if Noobs BR will get their revenge in this race. I am joined by the ever-wonderful 329th in line. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, Sineth. I am on the edge of my seat from some awesome action that we just wrapped up a few minutes ago, where, as you said, Golden Shower was able to squeeze out a win there, and I imagine Noobs BR will be hungry for blood, like you said. So expecting some very intense action in another episode of this week's Route Randomizer. Sineth, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to see how this is going to pan out. For those of you in chat that don't know what this is Route Randomizer. So it's area rando, but more evil, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is certainly sinister. And while we're kind of waiting for everything to ready up and launch, maybe we could dig into a little bit of the changes here. So with the Route Rando, like you said, it's an area randomizer. So doors can lead to any other door. You can go from Criteria to Meridia to Norfair. There's nothing to stop craziness. So this is definitely a tough mode to keep track of as it all goes along. But luckily, we are joined by the fantastic Eden 8, who is tracking for us again, back-to-back races. So Eden will be keeping us kind of in line with everything as it pops up on screen.
Yeah, so definitely give a huge follow to the crew team here, Eden 8 for doing amazing tracking with 4 different players on screen, and my co-commentary over here, 329th in line.
As well as my co-com Syneth. Appreciate everybody who helps make all this content so enjoyable and so entertaining. And while we're talking about entertaining content, so that last race, it was crazy and it was filled with quite a few required low percent boss runs. So
Yeah, we
we'll
had a low
see.
percent GT, a low percent Ridley, and basically every DLC boss in the game we could find.
Yeah, we saw required Croc, required. I think that was it, but we did come across Botwoon, which was kind of bait, and as well as Spore Spawn. That was the other one that was also kind of bait. So we'll see what makes an appearance today in this round 2 rematch. Junie June and Toasty taking on Asvel and Glacio Souza. So as we get progression here in the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, be sure to give each one of those runners a huge follow for making these restreams possible.
Whoa, and right out of the gate, we're getting, as I like to call them, some swanky new threads because Gravity Suit is not something we're going to be looking for. That's nice because it not only gives us the movement through water that it's so well known for, but it also is going to help us have some defense heading into this game right off the get-go.
I'm sure our runners are happy to see that after having a power suit only for, what was that, like 70% of the run on the last seed?
Yeah, I think the highest energy tank count was 3. That's what we ended with the Mother Brain fight. So some more overview, just as some housekeeping, if you will, as we talk about this route rando. Morph Ball is always vanilla location. Immediately after the Morph Ball room to the right is going to be missiles down here. You see Toasty grabbing, and Junie and Asvel have already picked up. And then to the right in this room, behind that missile lock door, is going to be Bomb Terizo room. It's vanilla bombs always. That means we will always be seeing this Bomb Terizo fight. And then we can take those Morph Ball bombs over to the left side of the Morph Ball area. That's going to be our charge beam. Other than that, everything else is up in the air.
Yep, and this is a forced Bomb Terizo fight in this mode. There's no way to get around this. You must fight this boss.
And it is nice to be able to fight Bomb Terizo when you have missiles in tow. It's just a step above the vanilla fight, so it makes it a little bit easier, but at least you can commiserate because you know all the other competition is going to have to be fighting through this same dilemma here. So
yeah, definitely. And this charge beam is also hard placement, so this is one more item that is definitely guaranteed, but everything else that you're about to see, the door colors, the rooms, and the routes that these runners take are completely random.
And I'm laughing under my breath because what do we see already? But we have already found Lower Norfair. So if you had Gravity Suit as the first item and Lower Norfair showing up early, you're winning bingo today. But we are rewarded with our Ice Beam. So kind of the polar opposite of the last seed. We've got a little bit of defense already, and we've got a beam that packs a punch. So not too bad.
Yeah, definitely. In the last seed, we actually found Gravity last, Ice Beam last, and Gravity. I'm sorry, not Gravity. Yeah, Gravity was the last suit. So yeah, we're definitely seeing polar opposites today for this seed so far.
Well, it makes for good variety in the content, right? So it keeps our runners on their toes after having to. Hopefully, we won't have low percent hard boss fights this time around. Although I'm sure that's what chat always wishes for. So something else you might see as we're getting into this. So looks like we found a couple of hub rooms here, which are going to give us a couple of different routes we can try out. Something to keep in mind is save rooms are always vanilla. So one thing our runners won't be searching for are save locations, and saving is super important in this mode because as we saw in the last round, I think every runner took a death. Some runners took multiple deaths. This is one of those things that you really can never be prepared for what's on the other side of that door. So gives new meaning to let's see what's behind door number 1, right?
Yeah, definitely. And something we saw in the last race was a baby room followed by a strut hopper room. So this seed can be super mean and just give you things that could kill you right in an instant without any way around it.
And it looks like our first E-tank is going to be down there at the spring ball check. So something, even just with saving from deaths, sometimes it's just nice to make some more efficient routing. If you go a long way and you reach a dead end, you can just save scum and go back, because it might take longer to make that trek all the way back to a hub room where you wanted to be anyway. So saving is a very valuable resource in this mode, and I imagine we'll be seeing our runners take full advantage of that.
And something we haven't mentioned in this race yet. Oh, high jump boots under the bridge there. But our runners get to be in a chat together on their team and sharing information about the seed. So they can say, hey, I'm in this area and I just found this. Or this area leads to this other area. Avoid it because it just goes in a circle.
Yep, there are many values to that communication as well, and we saw some of that playing out in the last seed as well. No doubt these runners feel experienced at kind of guiding their teammates through what's going on. So be interested to see how they split up and cover different area. And so after high jump boots collected for Junie, gonna head over mock ball across that yet again to go ahead and kind of progress the route a little bit further. And there you go. I see you see it early and often. We're seeing saves kind of all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say that with the amount of hub rooms that we kind of run across right away in the seed, that might give noobs BR the advantage they need to get ahead. In the last seed, what really made the difference for Golden Shower was that it was very linear off the bat. There were a couple of other directions you could go, but they ended up being dead ends. And then the seeds started to open up later, and Golden Shower just kind of got to that later exploration faster than Noobs BR did.
Yeah, and we've got kind of like diagonal things here. We have Toasty and Asvel kind of in the same rooms at the same time, and Glacio is on the tail of where Junie has been traveling through, picking up those high jump boots and heading further. Going to be in Meridia. Meridia is not something to be afraid of this time around, though, because we've had our swimming trunks since the beginning.
I like to call them the magic pancakes.
I could see it. I could see it. And along with magic pancakes, as you say, we are getting our first super missile pack. Those great resource. They help deal damage, but they're very important for those, like we were talking about, some of those low percent boss fights. If you encounter Ridley, supers are good to have. Mother Brain supers are helpful for damage output. And every once in a while, we can come across a super's door. So supers might be a rare commodity in this seed. So Junie happy to make an early appearance for a super pack.
Definitely. And it looks like Toasty is going to be going in the direction that Junie did not hear, with the Rippers going straight up instead of through that door. Again, our runner is going to be sharing information about the different directions that they're going and what they're finding.
I think that's important to note. You said we've hit a couple big hub rooms already, so you're seeing that divergence in Noobs BR as well, getting to explore some different areas. And it looks like we're kind of going 2 for 2 here. So Toasty and Asvel staying pretty close in step, and Glacio and Junie Jones are now simultaneous infinite bomb jumping here. So you'll see a lot of low percent strats optimized here, and our runners very well practiced and talented at executing these things. It is not easy to do a lot of the tricks that you're going to see in this run. So I better see some hype in chat for the hard work going on here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I can definitely speak to that myself, because I've done these infinite bomb jumps that Junie and Glacio are doing right now. They're definitely, they're not too hard to set up, but once you get them going and you have that rhythm in your mind, but definitely learning it is the hard part, I think.
Well, my trick for it has always been, you might laugh at this, my trick for it has been setting a metronome. So I don't remember what it is I have it written down, but I think that it's 140 be 114. I something with a 4 in it. But yeah, if you just click it on the metronome, you can just keep laying the bombs. It's the bad way to do it. These runners are much better than that. They have their own strats to make it happen. But when all else fails, just keep time. So.
Yep. And I will say that using a metronome is actually the best way to learn how to do this trick if you're into learning to run this game. That's definitely the way to get into learning this one trick with infinite bomb jump. And I think you're right that the metronome number, the magic number that you want to get, is right in the like 130 to 140 range.
Well, Toasty picking up another Super Pack. So that's 2 Super Packs that we know about so far, as a Retro Mother Brain was hiding out on some of those green missiles.
Man, what a route diversions we're having here too. Like both of these routes that all 4 runners have taken, going in 2 different directions, it really hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't panned out too much yet. I don't think I've seen any of the runners do a 180, although it does look like Junie's starting to do a 180 now.
And the grapple
We get a
beam
little bit
is
of a
making
high
an
five.
appearance. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're having a high five between Glacio and Junie as they go different directions in the speed room.
And unfortunately, Glacio taking a death there. I'm not sure how recent the save was. Okay, it is down there in that Meridia hub room, so that's a good sign. Like we said, it's not a. I think I mentioned this last race. It is not a matter of if you take a death in Route Rando, but when you take a death and how you budget those deaths. So good on Glacio to be getting some early saves in.
Yeah, every save station could be either super helpful or super detrimental depending on how you want to look at it, because if you save really late into a dead-end route, then you just have to take the hoofing back all the way back to wherever you came from, because your last save ends up being at the end of that dead end.
Yeah, that's a good point, and something to keep in mind absolutely for these runners. So the route that Toasty was taking turned out to be a dead end, just led to a super pack, which, early on game we'll definitely take, and another missile tank. It did yield a grapple beam, though, along the way. As we saw, grapple beam was required in our last run. It's what breaks that crumble block with the grapple point on it in, I think it's the pants room, the room before Shack Tool.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that ends up being the case again. Something I did want to point out, maybe kind of comparing seeds, though, is Asvel definitely feels good having Ice Beam against Metroids this time around. Had to go through and fight them.
Yeah.
Yeah, with just power bombs last time.
Yeah, that was not a fun room to go through with, I think it was only 10 power bombs, and had to go through almost all 3 Metroid rooms. So definitely not fun.
Glacio is skating close to the line there again. 4 energy right now, no tanks, no reserves. Get some health, get a save, Glacio, come on.
Yeah, Glacio working his way. Gonna have to be careful here. Doesn't take any damage through those hoppers, so just skates by into the next room.
It's like watching like Evel Knievel, like a stunt motor, just go driving right through the rings of fire like that, and not even phased, not even sweating. Glacio has nerves of steel right now.
So it looks like Glacio has backtracked into the main hub area. There is a save here we could take. Looks like Glacio is going to go right by it, though, and keep exploring with only 4 energy. Man, what a daredevil we have right now.
I guess maybe on one side you don't want to save lock yourself with 4 health, and it does pay off because Glacio looks like finds the landing site, but isn't going to refill there. Okay.
Yeah, definitely taking a lot of risks here, trying to get revenge on Team Golden Shower, who took the first win in this race, trying to get as much information as he can.
Oh, and I think we have a correction there in chat. I think it's just the tiny little bit of blurry there. It looks like someone is saying it's 84 energy. So That would make a lot more sense. It doesn't matter anymore because that is an E-tank grab, so we are back to full health on Glacio's side. So
I mean, still super risky because if you go into the wrong room with 84 health, you could still get two-shot.
yeah, and we have seen it happen in this in just the short race that we had earlier. There were quite a few heart attack transitions, to say the least.
Yeah, I'd like to mention that baby room into the Strut Hopper room, and here it is. Speaking of the Strut Hopper room,
Yeah, fortunately this time through, we didn't just have our health drained, so able to handle it. Yeah, that route, it ends up being a dead end, but it does give us, it did yield grappling beams, so we'll see if that pans out to being necessary. And we're connecting the landing site circle, like making a loop here, circling that hub. And there we go. This is the pants room, so grapple beam is going to yield some new exploration, and we'll have to see if it turns out to be required progression or if it's just kind of a long trail of bait here.
oh, it looks like it's a bot wound fight, but this time we have a gravity suit and a lot more energy to fight this snake with.
Yeah, speaking of getting some revenge, I think our runners will be happy to take Batoon down with a stack of super missiles, some boosted defense, and more energy, as you were saying. And just like that, Toasty able to have a much more enjoyable, pleasant fight of Batoon this time around. So we'll see what Batoon was hiding for us. It looks
Ooh,
like it's
so
Big
far, pink, yeah. And a plasma beam!
Literally the polar opposite of the last scene. We are rocking damage output. We've got charge, ice, plasma, and we're sitting pretty nice with a gravity suit already. So yeah, Batoon still yet to be seen if it's fully required, but is certainly gonna be nice
Looking
for
nice.
quality of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'll be
All right,
honest.
so
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
we just had a kill room there that we had to get through. That's all.
I was just gonna say, with all the options available to us in Pink Bryn, I would be very surprised if there's zero progression, whether in route or item pickup here. So I definitely think that this grapple beam is gonna turn out to be hard required.
Yeah, definitely. And as much as it may seem like it, we really cannot call who's in the lead right now. The way this race is decided is by a law of averages, meaning that both racers need to finish, and their times are added together, divided by 2, and we take that average time, and if their time is faster than the other teams, they win.
And on Noobs BR side, we get a little bit of a trade places here. They're going to swap through high-fiving in that elevator tunnel shaft as Asvel has gone and collected grapple beam and super missiles up top, and new Glacio is on the way to do the same. So going to be walking out of there with grapple beam. And Asvel should be stumbling upon the pants room soon, which is where we're happy to see some plasma beam and some other things. Imagine some progression as well. So definitely good on Glacio to be going up and grabbing that grapple beam.
Ooh, a Spore Spawn fight for Toasty. So we don't know if this is going to lead anywhere. This could just be a very long fight that unfortunately we have to fight because we can't get back through this door. So we'll have to see if this leads anywhere.
Spore Spawn fight is everyone's favorite DLC. It's a lot nicer when you have a charged plasma beam, though. It goes right through the eyes and takes it down in a beautiful one cycle from Toasty. So if you have to fight Spore Spawn, I guess this is the way you'd want to do it, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And that does lead into more progression, no dead ends here. So that Spore Spawn fight could be required.
That was a vanilla room transition, right?
Yeah, that was a vanilla room transition into Spazer. As chat is saying, is this even randomized?
So seeing a little bit of, it looks like a route that I have yet to see on Glacio's side. Did we see some of this? I could have missed it. As we said a few times in the last race, tough to follow all the different stuff that's going on because everything can be different at any moment. So on both screens, but I don't think I saw some of those screens.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've seen. This is what, Main Street? I think this is Main Street.
This is right next to Main Street, I think. So I'm not sure what the room name is there, but it's a large hub with some options. Asvel's already been up here, so maybe Glacio is just exploring a little more, but able to grab super missiles to go ahead and progress through to get that grapple beam now for Glacio.
And it looks like Junie has found Lower Norfair. This is a hot room. Why are you not taking damage? Is that changed in this randomizer?
So it looks like our tracker is pointing out that gravity is vanilla. So that means it does protect you from heat damage as well. And I'm glad you said something because I noticed that earlier and thought maybe I was missing something. Maybe I thought there was another room that wasn't hot that I thought was hot. But yeah, that is correct. So thank you so much to Eden.
Yeah, and if you're still here from the first race, checking out this back-to-back, I can't say it enough. Be sure to give Eden a huge follow for tracking and correcting us on the logic and just being an awesome person overall.
Yep, that is true. Eden is awesome. And we are seeing Glacio going up to grab that grapple beam. And Batwoon making an appearance on Asvel's side. So Asvel is kind of following the trail, right? It's just a couple of rooms or so, maybe just a few minutes behind the route that Toasty's been following.
Yeah, and Junie's now going into the forced spore spawn fight. I'm pretty sure it's not the direction to go though, because Toasty is going back through that area, going back down to the this area here. This is amphitheater, I believe, and then going left.
And Asvel picking up that plasma beam. Gotta be happy to see that, that's for sure. Well, the problem with finding like back-to-back hub rooms like this is, you know, where do you prioritize as far as exploration goes? We've seen a large Meridia hub room. We've got Big Pink available. I think we also saw a Criteria room as well. So kind of goes to what you're saying earlier about save often and early, but then also if you save in the wrong spot, you could give yourself quite a hike back to where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. All right, so chat, let's get some predictions. Who do you think is going to be the first major boss, if any? Oh, and a speed booster.
Yeah, and we talked about this in the first run, but maybe we should mention it again. Bosses have an interesting role they play in this route randomizer, as they are only going to be required if they block progression of path, or if they have an item behind them that is required to keep progressing through the game. The only exception is that Fantoon has a room that has a door that is only unlocked if you've beaten Fantoon, but that room doesn't necessarily have to appear. So as chat even already pointing out, an unrequired Fantoon, hopefully. So Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what bosses, if any, show up and what role they do play as they appear.
Yeah, so the guesses could be anywhere from we're going to go directly to Mother Brain to seeing Kraid first, or Ridley first, or even Dragon. We didn't get to see Dragon last seed. And I don't know about you, Inline, but I'm feeling a little Dragon action for the seed, considering we have Grapple and Gravity.
Yeah, that would certainly be the kindest boss the seed could throw at us. Although on a Various suit, I'm sorry, on a Gravity suit, I feel like you kind of maybe mitigate some of the dangers of those late game bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Ridley might be making an early appearance. That's where I'm gonna put my money on. And with Toasty making a loop there back through the pants room, it looks like that route didn't pan out as progressive as we might have hoped. So I might have missed something, but yeah, it's certainly easy to miss with all the things going on simultaneously. But as far as I know, it looks like we're just kind of back to this entrance hub of figuring out what else is available, where can we go next. And
Looks like Toasty's going to go check out Criteria Power Bomb, see what's up here.
oh, and actually, as chat reminding that I forgot. Yes, we have Speed Booster on both the Golden Shower sides. So that was in that grapple beam route. That's what was over there. So that's the big find, and is definitely going to help add some progression possibilities. We'll see if it ends up being hard required, though. And Billy Mays.
I mean, even if it's...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Even if it's not required, it makes our runners run faster.
It's funny because you have to remember what items were picked up, but also what obscure path got you that item. Keeping all the dots connected. And so Spore Spawn making a debut on Asvel's side, but again, armed with the plasma beam, kind of a joke of a fight compared to what we've seen our runners have to fight through before. You can just cut through this kind of slow boss fight in one shot. And yep, just like that, Asvel makes short work of Spore Spawn. Doesn't even get to the heavy metal mosh pit round that I like, where Spore Spawn is bouncing all around.
That's the best kind of mosh pit. The one with Spore Spawn in it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So this kind of begs the question here, where is our next major kind of source going to be leading us? We've kind of hit a couple of dead ends here. We did get speed, we did get gravity, so certainly a lot of options if stuff shows up. It's just kind of a matter right now of seeing where the next big breakthrough is going to be leading us.
I'm actually really liking these dead ends because they're longer dead ends than what we saw on the first seed. The first seed, most of the dead ends we got they dead-ended literally right into an area that we could have been at 2 minutes before. Like that bot wound back to the ship immediately. All right, so looks like Toasty has found the Indiana Jones area behind Croc. Going to be getting the Indiana Jones item and the grapple item. We got an interesting speed room here.
And down there on Glacio's side, we've got Botwoon making the 4th appearance of this match, 8th appearance of the night, but 4th appearance of this match here, and a much like we said earlier, a much more pleasant fight for our runners this time around as Batwoon goes down with ease on Glacio's side. Nicely done.
Yeah, this is still anyone's match. We really don't know with how much is open right now and how many different directions you can go. We really haven't seen an obvious way to go yet.
It does look like Toasty is going to be giving us a look at some new information, though, as with the speed booster, we can go up this shaft here. It is going to be more super missiles, but more importantly, is it going to lead to some progression here as we can move forward?
Ooh, interesting. Into the speed area behind Batwoon, or in front of Batwoon. And we have a shaft, which we can then go check that door from the other side.
And making good use of the grapple beam early on, right? As we're still missing out on a space jump here, so. And right now, Toasty continuing to find more connecting rooms. So that speed booster shaft seems like it's leading us in the right direction, which is going to definitely be a benefit and a one-up to grabbing that grapple beam early, because that's what's led the speed booster.
So as some people are coming into chat for the first time, yes, this is game 2 for this back-to-back race. 329th in line, do you want to give a quick overview of how it's come out so far?
For this one or the total of the two? So this one so far
Total
has
of
been,
the two.
I would say this one so far has been a tale of two different seeds, that's for sure, because the first seed was very low on energy. It was mostly low percent hard boss fights. We had a low percent Ridley, low percent GT fight, and it just ended up working in Golden Shower's favor as they were able to kind of push through those low percent fights a little earlier. And I think noobs prioritized trying to find some of the upgrades to make those fights a little smoother for them. And that ended up being kind of the deciding factor for Golden Showers. But this fight, it's been the exact opposite, as we already have 4 E-Tanks, which is more than we saw the whole game last time around. And my prediction there was right, as Toasty stumbles into the Ridley fight. Plasma Charge Ice, not a bad combo. It looks like 30 supers, so definitely not going to be the low percent Ridley fight we saw last time.
Yeah, this is definitely a very comfortable Ridley fight, and go collect your internet points and turn them in.
If only I could predict things that actually paid out in real money as well as I do these commentator blessings here. But yeah, not going to be upset to fight Ridley on this, especially after what we went through in the last round. And just like that, Toasty brings down Ridley. Kind of probably a breath of fresh air compared to the last run. So, and it's an open room that's going to continue to move forward. So we'll see if Ridley is required as we keep going here on Toasty's side. But yeah, to keep recapping.
Oh no. So that's a Fantoon fight. This could be a required Fantoon fight directly after Ridley.
Yeah, I echo that in chat. This is a much more comfortable seed, sitting at more tanks, more suit protection, as well as beams that pack a little more of a punch. But this is a dead end here for Fantoon. So the question is, if the Fantoon room shows up, then all this is important and required and a good use of your time. But if not, Toasty is sinking some time into these boss fights here.
Yep, so it could be that Ridley and Fantoon are required, or Ridley and Fantoon are both not required. We don't know until we see that room. Now, here's a good question. You've seen enough of these. Is it possible for the escape to have the Fantoon room?
You know what? I have no idea. And it looks like Eden keeping me honest here saying no. So yeah, I'm going to say no. It only randomizes rooms that are in the actual escape, it looks like. So thank you, Eden.
That would be pretty funny, though, if Escape had a Fantoon room in it.
Yeah, that would be awful. But it makes sense, like, logically why that wouldn't be the case. But yeah, that would be horrible. So we will see the only thing Ridley led to was a Fantoon fight. So we'll see as we progress along. And Glacio about to discover the vanilla door transition here to the Spazer room. Normally, I would joke and say, "Is this even randomized?" But I think we've had enough torture leading up to this point to know that we're certainly still in the right settings here. But yeah, Toasty continuing going to be heading down now. Only time will tell about that Fantoon fight, right? So, what do you tell your partner in this case?
In this case, I would be telling Junie, hey, by the way, there's a Ridley and then a Fantoon fight right behind it over here. Keep exploring what you're exploring, because I'm going in a direction that seems like it's opening up, but I don't know for sure. But it looks like Junie is going to go fight Ridley right away and then go fight Fantoon right after that. So this might be the only way that you can go.
Yeah, as far as the route behind Ridley, there's not anything opening up. But I think early on, I think it's a good call because we're still early enough in the seed. We haven't made progression towards that really end game phase yet. So I think the time that you save, especially with the loadout, remember we're fighting, Charge Ice Plasma. We've got a healthy stock of supers, and we've got the defense to kind of handle it. So I think early on this is a good play because, let's say another team puts this off. That's kind of a nail in the coffin there if you get to the end game and you put off this fight that was 30 minutes ago. And just like that, Junie making short work of Ridley. This is the chance for the runners to get revenge on the last seed, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. This seed has been nothing but comfortable plays considering the torture that we had to go through in the last seed.
And Glacio making the progress to be catching up as well, grabbing the speed booster, and is going to be on track to be getting back towards kind of where we've seen the other runners at this point. But Junie, making the call to go toe to tentacle with Fantoon here. Again, should be a very quick fight.
Yeah, once again, I can't disagree with this call for Team Golden Shower because if Fantoon does end up being required, I mean, you may as well get this fight out of the way while you're here.
Yeah, no, I fully agree.
Nice reverse green gate glitch to get through that gate and get back over to this hub room.
Yep, and Asvel is taking the speed booster up that kind of shaft right there and is going to be able to make progress towards. It's going to be discovering Ridley and Fantoon as well, that 2-for-1 deal on bosses that we had.
So is this the Billy Mays of this seed? Buy one boss, get one boss free?
It absolutely is. And while we talk about the differences here, it kind of stinks. Kind of stinks for all the nice quality of life that we've had. Having to go through this column room here in Lower Norfair with just power bombs can be a little frustrating. And Toast, you want to be careful. It does have a good amount of health, much more than we saw in the last seed, but still want to be careful in rooms like that. It can chip away at you pretty quick and leave you vulnerable on a door transition to a rough room after that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Ridley fight being right next to all this area that we're going into on Toasty's side definitely makes me think that it was a good idea to kill both of those bosses while you're on your way down here, because there's got to be something down this way, I'm thinking.
Yeah, runner's still making good use of that grapple beam. Might be a while before we see Space Jump show up, if at all.
No wave beam to get through this gate, but that's not going to be a problem. We have supers. So that tells me, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, wave beam is required if this leads somewhere? And there's a Dragon fight!
Yeah, well, it leads to boss number 3 here. And armed with our grapple beam, yeah, we're going to be able to make some fried shrimp instead today. So
Yeah, we have enough energy to make some fried shrimp pretty easily here, so this is going to be a very quick fight, blink and you miss it.
I will second that, chat. The only thing better here could be at the top of this, that this room would lead to Kraid's lair, and then you've got the 4 for 4.
That's kind of cool that this gives you little platforms to jump on after you kill Dragon. Ooh, that's a wave beam required door. You cannot super that. Not
so
sure what Toasty's doing.
I think Toasty is airing some frustration on that beam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because being able to kind of be deceived by the logic here, as if to say, no, you can wave gate glitch this, it's fine. It lets you know that is definitely kind of a slap in the face from the seed, saying, no, you can't pass through here. So that means that somewhere earlier on one of these offshooting routes, the wave beam is hiding out, or we don't need to go through that way.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. And Junie is exploring a totally different direction here. So we'll have to see if Junie ends up finding either the wave beam or a route of progression that goes in a way that our team can go in.
So I will say this might be, this is important because as of this point, the Golden Showers have eked out a little bit of a lead here as far as a couple of rooms ahead. Not a major lead. It's still, could be swayed by just 1 or 2 item finds, but just a little bit of a room lead as far as explored a little more. I think we saw both of the Showers have taken on, oh, and there's Kraid. Both of the Showers have taken on Fantoon and Ridley, whereas we have yet to see that on Noob's side. But if Asvel or Glacio are able to turn up the wave beam in kind of a really niche one-off location, it might be a while before we see either of the Showers runners make their way over there. So really, it still is anybody's race.
Yep, and as you were saying, we now have our 4th boss of this match. Kraid makes an appearance, so this could be a Golden 4 required seed.
Yeah, this is echoing some words of chat there. Kind of the fastest boss rush I've ever seen. And with that, Kraid, even though making the rise to power, Kraid is brought down and Toasty is going to be able to move on. Ridley only locked Fantoon, though. So if Kraid is blocking some progression, then that would make Kraid a required logical play. We still don't know about Dragon because, like we said, we got that wave gate block right away. So, and Asvel, interesting. See, this is what I was talking about how routing might pay off. Asvel is actually in Kraid right now. So if this is the right direction, then Asvel saved a lot of time not going to the Ridley Fantoon stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, only if it turns out to be that the Fantoon door doesn't make an appearance. So a lot of what ifs in this mode that it's called Route Rando, but I think it should be renamed Insanity. That's a good one for it.
I don't think you're wrong with how the first race turned out.
And we had simultaneous Kraid fights. Junie able to grab the quick kill on Kraid and is going to be able to move out of the room. But Asvel, not too far behind, did have to go through the full stand-up. But nonetheless has dispatched of Kraid and is able to move on as well. So all 3, we've got Asvel, Junie, and Toasty all following that same Kraid route logic here. So we'll see what this turns into.
Yeah, definitely. Be sure to give each of our runners a huge follow for making this possible and giving us a good showing here on their second match. Give Junie June a follow, Asvel, Toasty, and Glacio Souza, as well as their teammates on Golden Shower and their teammates over on Noobs BR. Great runners, great content creators here on Twitch. If they're an emo only chat, go give them a cool emote or two in their chat. Tell them how much you appreciate them with emotes, and I'm sure they will appreciate you visiting them.
Yeah, show that love, show that support. Very important. I'm interested to see what this trade route pays out to be. It's funny how big of a time sink the Ridley Fantoon area was, because it didn't pay out anything other than that possible Fantoon door lock. So we've seen Asvel eliminate any lead that was there. And Asvel can easily direct teammate Glacio to make those steps to get to that crate area and start going towards us. So yeah, Showers are definitely hoping that Fantoon door does make an appearance today, because that could be the big separator here. If not, we're just a few seconds away from each other as far as frames and rooms explored here.
Meanwhile, Toasty is fighting with the crumble room here. This is not an easy thing to do to get up the crumble room, but Toasty nails it without a problem after collecting an E-tank and runs into a dead end with a wave beam. There it is. So we now have to go through that wave beam door.
Yeah, our suspicions are verified there, as we got Wavegate locked, but nonetheless, Wavebeam was just on a little route we had to kind of down the rabbit trail, if you will. So taking Wavebeam back, we do have Plasma Beam though, so at least it makes this fight in this room with the Red Pirates a little easier. But yeah, that's a key to kind of unlock our available progression right now, as far as we know. And Asvel is in prime position to pick that up in line with both the Showers players. So again, I think that's a good call on Asvel's side right now to really narrow the gap here.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. And not to mention, that wave beam now gives us full Crispy. Well, we're missing Spazer, but we have the important beams for Crispy. Chat is making jokes here at the expense of my co-commentator.
I didn't even catch that I said it. Well, no worries. At least our runners are not 329th in line. They're much closer to the front with the items they're finding. So.
Oh, definitely.
Now, Toasty is exploring a little more down this kind of offshoot. As far as information goes, it's interesting because Asvel does not know about that wave lock. We'll be able to pass through it, at the first appearance of it. It's right behind Dragon, but we'll
that means Crate is required to get to Wave, and then Dragon is required to get to the wave locked area, if I'm correct.
Yes. Yep. And it's just a matter of what's on the other side of that wave gate, and it could be a long trail before we find out, if that play is important and worth it. But I think we're kind of running out of progression as well, too. So I would imagine there's something on the other side of that.
Yeah, so this is going to turn into, once we get through the Wavegate room, is the Fantoon room going to make it rear its ugly head and cause Noobs BR to fall very far behind? Or is it not going to show up and the Ridley into Fantoon fight ends up being a time sink?
Yeah, that would be a dramatically big time save for Noobs BR if that ends up not being required. So I actually think that I'm a little, again, it's so hard to keep track of how all these rooms connected, Glacio is moving the right direction, but I'm not sure if Glacio is going fully towards the Ridley play or if this is the area to get towards Ridley and everything else that we've seen. So I apologize that I forget how all these things connect together, but it looks like Junie is going to be the first to show us what is on the other side of this wave gate up here.
Yeah, and I'm not much help there on telling you exactly how this plays out. If this is leading into Ridley Fantoon or if this is leading into the second direction of Ridley and Fantoon.
Well, we'll know in a little bit. And Zosti following an offshoot that just leads to an energy tank. So we'll have to see what path Zosti took to get here and what that does to the knowledge that we have available. But we do see Junie fry the shrimp successfully, and you never want undercooked shrimp. It's just very unhealthy. But here we have Junie is going to be showing us what's on the other side of this wave gate. And
Ooh, hopper room.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there. Just Asvel is close behind. Asvel finds the Dragon fight as well. So Asvel is maybe 2-3 rooms away from where Junie's at right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to say who's in the lead right now. I want to say that Golden Showers has a slight advantage over Noobs BR just because both runners for that team are closer together as far as where they are in progression. And Asvel is kind of just full exploring this while Glacio is searching through other directions that they don't know that this doesn't go anywhere.
I chuckled a little bit to myself there as yet another wave as Junie came across there. So you definitely needed the wave beam if if you managed to get through any one of those gates with any trickery. The game was trying to be very sure that you had it. So.
Yeah, I don't think there was any trickery to get through that first wave gate. But that's funny that we ran into 3 wave gates in a row.
And making an appearance on screen, my favorite DLC boss of the run here. That is Crocomire. Much easier to take down with the plasma beam, as you can swag a little bit here and give a moonwalk while Croc dances to his doom.
I'm surprised that neither of our runners are removing Crocomire's arms.
And Glacio stumbles upon Ridley. And that's what I thought Glacio was heading this direction. I just couldn't remember how it all connected. So Glacio does find the Ridley fight, which is going to lead immediately to a Fantoon fight just a room away. And that's it. It's a dead end after that. So at least that Noobs BR has the information. Maybe they'll take a gamble. And if Asvel continues to discover progression, they'll just follow that line until more information comes about that Fantoon locked door, because as far as we know, there's nothing else over here except that lock. And we don't know if that's required. But Glacio having a nice Ridley fight here. Much more enjoyable, like we said, with the charged plasma ice and a healthy stock more of supers. And with that, Glacio is able to take down Ridley. Very nice kill.
Genie, meanwhile, is heading up into this door that normally leads to Mickey Mouse and finds, I believe this is Cathedral. And a space jump.
Well, we've got simultaneous boss fights happening on Noobs BR as Asvel is a few steps away from sinking Croc, and Glacio is taking on Fantoon. Poor Croc.
Yep, so Noobs BR now has the information that Fantoon is in the seed. It's a matter of will Asder, or Asville, I'm sorry, turn around and head back towards that Fantoon fight, thinking that it's required, or is Asvel going to keep going in the direction that he's going and hoping that Fantoon is not required?
Yeah, well, it's tough to say. It certainly looks, based on how we're seeing the exploration go from Junie, Asvel, and Toasty, it certainly looks like this path continues to have open availability. So there's much more to discover as we follow through. I would be surprised to see Asvel turn around at this point as far away. We did see the gravity suit there, and then on Toasty's side, and I'm sorry, not gravity suit, various suit on Toasty's side, and Junie is picks up screw attack there, so that is a nice item to have as well. Not required for anything, but good quality of life. And GT making an appearance, so we just keep bumping into those DLC bosses, if you will.
GT does play a very important role in one route of Super Metroid.
And we get the Franker reserve tank there on Junie's side. It's the first reserve tank I think we've seen of the match. But more importantly, GT opening up more progression as far as direction we can head. So it'll be interesting to see what's at the end of this thread. Whether it's a dead end or... Oh man. Junie finds it. The Fantoon locked room, and that's going to take us to Mother Brain. So June has put the seed together. And that's really big because Asvel has not gone over to that Ridley Fantoon area. So Toasty and Junie making the call to go ahead and finish off the Ridley Fantoon pair. So I believe that makes all 4 bosses hard required.
Yep, that makes all 4 bosses hard required. That makes, I think, almost all the DLC bosses required too. Actually, we saw every boss, I think, except for Shaq Tool.
Yeah, I think the only thing that was, and I could have my seeds mixed up, but I'm pretty sure that Spore Spawn only had a missile tank. But that might have been the first seed. I don't remember. But yeah, you are right. We've seen, it's been a whole host of boss rush too.
Yeah, so with that all being said, unless something tragic happens, Golden Shower is in a very secure spot to claim round 2 here and get the win against Noobs BR.
Yeah, they are certainly in the driver's seat to take both of these matches in this doubleheader today. I kind of feel bad though, like it hurts in the gut because I thought it was awesome to see Asvel stick out the play, keep going after getting the news from Glacio. So I was really holding out that it wouldn't be required and would, kind of tighten up the finish here, but that is definitely rough.
Junie gets the Zebetite skip using an Ice Beam and a little bit of a jump to glitch through that first thing. Ices a couple of these Rinkas and takes on Mother Brain 1.
And kind of the theme of this seed, and look at how close the showers are in tandem there. Junie just entering the cutscene to start the Mother Brain fight, and Toasty breaking the glass. So they're going to be finishing within pretty good times of each other.
Chat discussing a little bit on the importance of various suits' role here on this fight. Do you get that extra item pickup for the safety, or do you skip the item pickup to skip the fanfare because you think you could do this fight without the safety?
Yeah, it's tough in a setting where, Varia is really kind of useless other than the damage mitigation because you so often are seeking out Varia's suit to protect you from, the heated rooms. And then once you get past that point, with an early Varia, I could understand why you might make some of that commitment to what's going on here. But we're seeing, it looks looks pretty good. Looks like it's 3 tanks and 79. Is that just enough or just shy? That is just enough. Yeah, so it is 3 full tanks. All right. I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 3.5. So that is going to be just enough for Toasty to go ahead and get on with the next part of this fight. So Junie and Toasty are lining up to finish their mother brain fights and begin that randomized escape sequence. So if you haven't had enough fun with Rando, you get one more crack at it trying to get out of the planet. Yep, and we've got Junie getting the refill from the baby Metroid and Toasty just a few seconds behind. That is, yeah, it's tough, but that's the way that I guess Rando falls, right? We've seen it in not just Super Metroid, but so many other variants of randomizer games. Asvel made a really strong play to go ahead and skip the Phantoon Ridley. Also was pretty far into the seed linearly before getting the information too. So definitely made sense to make a strong call and not double back for it. It would have really given Asvel a nice advantage. But at this point, looking at it now, knowing that that Phantoon locked door is going to lead us to the final room for Mother Brain, it's a rough turn of events. But nonetheless, excellent running and execution. Very enjoyable race to watch. Both of these, this back-to-back has been intense. And Noobs BR was definitely hungry to draw some blood in this run, but it looks like Showers are going to be able to take it 2-0. And Glacio going with a little bit of speed boosting strat there too before equipping the grapple beam to take down Dragon. And making that electrifying connection, fully cooking and frying the shrimp there. Going to be able to head up. Actually, is going to have to go back and get that wave beam first. So I wonder if Asvel has informed Glacio about the wave lock. And yeah, we do see Glacio going left. So Glacio is aware of that wave lock and be heading back down to grab it. And June freeing the animals again. And the most annoying part about this escape sequence here is with the randomization, you got to figure out which door it is that actually leads you out of where you're going. So you're seeing our runners here kind of maybe trying to communicate on, I'll check this, you check that, and let's see if we can get it. And here we go. That back door down there is going to let us out. So Glacio, yeah, making the kind of just firing angrily at the wave lock there. We found out a little bit ago that gonna need wave beam to kind of finish this, and there's another wave gate after this too, so there's a couple of wave locks in Glacio's future. Gonna need to grab that wave beam. And it does look like Toasty and Junie are piecing together how to make sense of this randomized escape here. And I think we had I think one of the teammates shared a little bit of fun that they do not try to save the animals. So Junie, I think, saved the animals both runs while looking for a way out. And indeed, there we go. Get your GGs in chat. Junie, June, and Toasty finish within just a few seconds of each other. We'll get those official times in a second. But get
Good
your GGs
game.
in chat.
Yeah, so an official time from Junie June, first place with 1 hour, 3 minutes, 18 seconds on SRL, and Toasty was 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 23 seconds.
I'm very, very bad at math, but I feel like that's an average of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 20.5 seconds or 21 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. So that's definitely a good game for Golden Shower, taking their second round win against Noobs BR. It will be up to Noobs BR if they would like to finish out the seed or if they would like to forfeit. We'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah, I mean, and I just alluded to it a little bit ago. It's tough because the play that Asvel made was really strong. It
Hmm.
took a lot of a lot of guts, to really grind through and say like, all right, we're gonna go ahead and make the skip. But once we found out that that was required, there was really nothing at that point that could be done. It was just too far back to backtrack for Asvel. But they should be very proud of the run that they put on. Definitely a good showing from both runners for Noobs BR in both races. We went from a very unhealthy, frustrating low percent seed the first time around to this kind of polar opposite. This was a little more of a gift. I think the seed was having mercy. Although that back to back to back wave lock and then those boss rushes, I don't know if I don't know how kind a seed it is when stuff like that's happening, but
Yeah, definitely. And I may have missed it. Did Asville find that Mother Brain is currently locked by that Ridley Fantoon combo?
I don't think that Asvel has been to that room yet. I think
And
Asvel's
Asville's
been
currently discussing where they need to go, what they need to do. Okay, so Eden confirming that yes, Asville has seen the green room and does know that they need to backtrack in order to get to Mother Brain.
No, I apologize. I was so focused on that wrapping up that end there on the left side, I missed it. Yeah, so Asvel's gonna have to make the backtrack. Does have at least the information on where those bosses are, though. Yeah, so forget about your 2-for-1 deals. We were 4 for 4 today on required boss fights.
Yeah, 4 for 4 for required boss fights, and I would have to go back and look, but I almost feel like all the DLC bosses required at some point during the seed.
Yeah, I know you're right about GT and oh, there we go, and Asvel has found the Ridley fight. GT and Croc, I think, gave us progression as far as our path forward, but I can't remember what was on Spore Spawn. I think it was
Yeah,
a dead
neither
end.
can I. I can't remember it either, and Eden correcting us that we're forgetting about the most important DLC boss here. We didn't get to see Shaq Tool on either of the races.
Well, what we missed in Shaq Tool, we made sure to kill Crocomire quite a few times. But yeah, speaking of killing bosses, Asvel has brought down Ridley, and that's going to lead Asvel down the path to go ahead and take on this required Fantoon fight just down here. And Asvel, having been to that end game room and knowing the path to finish, I'd imagine has passed the information along to Glacio, who is just needs to pick up Wave Beam and then can start heading towards this end game. And if I'm being completely honest, in the line of things that I've forgotten in this seed already, I know Wave Beam was behind Kraid, but I don't really remember how far or where. So we just saw Glacio take down Kraid, so hopefully Wave Beam is in the near future here. And the only benefit to this one is the last seed we were pretty shy on bosses. I don't even think we had. I'm not sure if we had one required. I think maybe only Kraid was the required boss in the last seed. I can't remember.
Well, maybe our team here, Golden Shower, can correct us on that because they're joining us here in the booth for their interview. Good game to both of you guys. What do you think of both the runs?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean the first run was scary and the second run was fun. That's my take.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, that first one was scary. Yeah, that could have gone pretty bad. There's a lot of difficult moments there, like doing the hopper room after baby skip being on 1 health was very scary. Ridley was pretty scary. GT, and then Mother Brain only having one tank of leeway with like a, I don't know. It was
Yeah, and then of course Toasty kept taking the routes that led him to dead ends, and I found the golden pathway.
yeah.
Now, I got to ask, how did your team communication go for both of those? Because it seemed like there was a lot of just helping each other for both runs.
Yeah, I felt real good about it. This was, I think we communicated well. The synergy was good.
Yeah, Judy did not fall for any of my tricks and my attempts to deceive him. So he's clever. He's a clever one.
Yeah. the only place that was kind of funny was we were talking about having enough tanks to potentially be able to do Variolus in that second seed, and Toasty had 5 tanks, and I couldn't remember where that 6th tank was, and so I said, go to the top of whatever that room is and go right, and there was a tank there, but he couldn't get it.
Oh no!
It's like, how do I get this? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, Judy, you told me there's a tank. It's true, but yeah.
I mean, at least you weren't lied to, right?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
It was really, I mean, it was very entertaining to watch both sets, but it was kind of like you said when you started. It was the tale of 2 seeds, right? Very different application on both ends.
Yeah.
It was really nice getting that gravity like as the first item.
That was crazy.
And then it was scary at that point because it's like, okay, well that means anything can get thrown at us. But there were a lot of tanks, there was a lot of ammo, a lot of beams. It's pretty safe.
So I do want to ask, and we talked about that team communication. Maybe walk through. So I believe it was Junie that discovered the Ridley that led to Fantoon first, kind of boss rush there. What was the plan on having, and if I'm wrong, it might have been Toasty. What was the plan on having the other runner go there, or possibly time skip it because nothing besides Fantoon, and obviously it paid off, but
yeah. Toasty found it first. I don't think there was even a second thought on skipping it. We just decided to do it.
I think Junie was not too far away, so it was definitely worth, I think, going for it and not risking like Fantoon gating the end of the game. That's like the worst thing ever. And so yeah, I think, but it would be a call if somebody found Fantoon like really far away from the other person. That's a tough one.
That's actually what happened on Noob's side. Asvel was kind of in step with you. I think it was Toasty after that. So after it went right instead of left to Ridley, and picked a wave beam, was going through that whole Dragon fight, everything, kind of in step with you, and then Glacia found it and I guess made the relay, but Asvel continued to push forward, which made sense, like as deep as Asvel was. So it was a gutsy call. It just, unfortunately, Asvel came to that door and was locked out. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, and we're just getting information here in the booth that Team Noobs BR is forfeiting from the race. They don't think that they can make enough time here to do anything here on the second round. So good game to all 4 of our runners here. We'll see if Team Noobs BR will like to join us for an interview, but otherwise we'll just keep interviewing Junie and Toasty.
Yeah, I think I'll head out here, but thank you so much for the commentary, and thank you, for tracking the setup and all this stuff, and thanks, a lot of these seeds had to be vetted and played through, which is a tremendous amount of work and effort, so thank you, everybody. It's been fun.
Thank you. Excellent race, and a real joy to watch you do the run. How did the Wavegate lock feel?
Wavegate. I didn't even feel that really, because Toasty was the one that found the wave locked spot.
Oh yeah.
And then I I just went a different direction, and I think you actually found Wave first, didn't you? We branched off, but I think Toasty found Wave first.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, we were doing different stuff. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, both.
Take care, guys, and I'll see you next race.
Good one.
Thanks.
Later,
Bye.
Toasty.
Yeah, GG's Toast. Thanks.
From my perspective, it seemed like I didn't run into very many locked things at all in either of these seeds. It seemed like Toasty was the one that tended to find the locked areas. The only place that I found that was locked, there was a speed locked climb supers room. I think that was out of both of these seeds. I think that was the only place that I found a lock and had to turn around.
Yeah, I think I remember that too, that you didn't really run into anything that made you have to 180.
Yeah, I was able to sort of plug forward in both of these.
Well, I mean, either way. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, the highlight of this whole thing for me, did you guys see that speedball that I did through
Wasteland? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, it felt so good. Awesome. Like, I didn't remember that was the next room. But first of all, getting that speedball out of the pre-grapple room, that's not something that I do every day. So it just felt good to get that, and then to have that room coming next, I was like, oh man, this feels so good.
Yeah, that's one to go back and clip for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
As soon as that happened, I said, nothing else even matters. This is all that needed to happen.
Well, I think all around it was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we have Billy Mitchell on Toasty's screen now. Everybody, take a look at that. It's important. important man in the gaming community, right there. That sweet tie.
That is a nice tie.
Anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say, for to kind of put a cap on the whole thing. It was a very tough first seed and a pretty forgiving, like you said, a fun second seed. But I think what was awesome, as always is with these, is the execution from all four runners was really enjoyable to watch, and you can tell that everybody here puts a lot of time into, a lot of effort into what they're doing. So it's just fun to watch it on a competitive scale, play out and kind of be subjected for our amusement, of course, but to the torture of what something like that first seed was.
Yeah,
that first seed was basically be brave enough to do the low percent play, or don't be brave enough and lose.
Yeah. Well, and that first one, I was the one that fell into Ridley, and I had just taken a beating in the rooms before that. So I went in there with, I don't know, it was around 100 health. It was scary. But yeah. No, I second everything that Toasty said. Thanks so much for commentary. Thanks to trackers and everybody who's involved in the background. It's just a really great community that we're all part of. So I'm going to step out.
Yeah, definitely.
And thanks again. And take care.
You as well.
Junie, thank you so much.
And with that, I don't believe our other runners are going to be joining us for an interview. They haven't come into the room or said anything yet. So I think we're going to be calling it here. Be sure to follow each of our runners, Junie June, Asvel, Toasty, and Glacio Souza, each on their own channels. They're great content creators of their own right, doing some really cool things on each of their channels. Give them a huge follow, a ton of emotes, or just say hey in their chat every now and again. I'm sure they will appreciate it. And also give Eden 8 a huge follow for doing the tracking and keeping us commentators in the booth straight with logic and things that runners may have done or not done. And my co-commentator, 329th in line, for being awesome.
And give a follow to Sineth as well. Thank you so much for letting me join you here in the booth and have fun calling some very intense and at times hilarious, but always enjoyable action here on Super Metroid Route Rando.
And that's going to be all for us. Have a good day, everyone. Hope that you go enjoy some great races over at the other speed gaming channels. A few of them are live right now, so go check them out.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.